is where MAGA comes to talk, and I'll be starting the other stream in just a moment. I'm going to do a big breakdown today of the entire Meet the Press interview, because that's huge. I mean, that's just huge. I mean, you know, Trump has them freaking out, as always. You know, they're always freaked out over Trump. That's okay. We don't want the Meet the Press people not to be freaked out by him.
Are we running Iowa still?
Not that one. I'll have a new one in a few days.
Okay. So
Yeah. Yeah, because that one's dated. That's only till the 7th. Yeah. We'll be on the air shortly, guys. All right. Yes. And we will be taking your calls. I'm going to go through the Meet the Press clips and talk about it because it was, you know, Trump was great. Kristen Welker, well, that's another story. And I got a lot more to cover, too. And I might, if I have time, get to some of that Joni Ernst stuff I talked about over the weekend. Welcome to the stream, everyone. If you're new, my name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. And man, oh man, do we have a lot to talk about today. Now, of course, I'm going to start by going through everything that President Trump discussed and was asked about by Kristen Welker on the Meet the Press interview, because that was some interview. And President Trump laid everything out that he's going to be doing in that interview, and it was great. I love it. I mean, he's been elected to get these things done, and Trump is not playing. He's getting everything done. All right. Where are we? Okay. Stand by. We will be live on the air in 10 seconds.
Right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445.
On the air since 1977. It's the Steve Kane Show with...
All righty. Yes, it sure is. Welcome, one and all. 4 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. It is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We've got a lot to cover. This was one of the biggest news weekends maybe in decades. I mean, I just don't know. It's so strange during these holiday periods, from the Monday before Thanksgiving until after the first of the year, historically, is a no news period. But of course, we've got President Trump is president-elect, and there's news breaking like every 10 minutes. So we've got a lot to cover. I'm going to cover as much as possible, including the surrender of France and really all of Europe to President Trump at Notre Dame over the weekend and everything that's been going on. But I want to first start with this Kristen Welker Meet the Press interview with President Trump, when President Trump just did incredibly well and touched on some of the most important issues that he's going to be confronting on day one. So we're going to go through that. I'm going to play some of the audio from it and discuss it, and you're certainly welcome to call in and comment as well at 1-888-465-2631, 1-888-465-2631. I will tell you, while it appears on the surface that Kristen Welker was being respectful, I don't think so. I think Kristen Welker in this Meet the Press interview was being condescending. And the questions that she asked Trump are, his answers are fine, and what he's doing, that's why he was elected. He just won a national election, won the battleground states, won the popular vote, and all of this. So the country is with him, not the liberal fake news media. But when President Trump was giving his answers to Kristen Welker thought that Trump looked insane. You understand that, right? She doesn't realize how sane he is and how the American people are on his side, that we're also sane. But she thinks he's insane and those who support him are insane. And if you think the majority of the country is crazy and you're not, you're probably the crazy one, Kristen Welker. Another thing about Kristen Welker that's very, very important to understand is that she is so tight, so connected with the Obamas. And whenever she makes the news like this, with this interview with President Trump, and this was an important interview because this really was President Trump's first interview since winning the election with like the mainstream media. All right, like a real sit-down kind of proper interview. So it's an important interview. But she's not just some reporter girl who was on the high school newspaper and then decided she was going to be a journalist. Her family are very well connected. Remember, Kristen Welker and her parents spent Christmas Eve and Christmas morning with the Obamas in the White House. When the Obama girls were little girls. Now you see them, they look like scumbags who are walking around smoking Cheech and Chong big doobies all the time. But this is when they were little girls. So that's a very big deal. That's how connected Kristen Welker is. In fact, I think she should have to disclose that every time she does an interview, because she's not a journalist. She's a left-wing Democrat activist. It's okay to be a left-wing Democrat activist, but you shouldn't be going around acting like you're a member of the journalistic community, and fair and balanced as she does, because she's anything but that. So let me play this first clip, because this is a big one. It's not the only big one, but this may be the biggest one so far as the immediate problems America is facing. This is President Trump with Kristen Welker talking about birthright citizenship.
Let me ask you about some of your other promises on this topic. You promised to end birthright citizenship on day one. Is that still your plan?
Yeah, absolutely.
The 14th Amendment, though, says that, quote, all persons born in the United States are citizens. Can you get around the 14th Amendment with an executive
We're going to
action?
get a change. We'll maybe have to go back to the people, but we have to end it. We're the only country that has it.
Through an executive action?
We're the only country that has it. Do you know, if somebody sets a foot, just a foot, 1 foot, you don't need to, on our land, congratulations, you are now a citizen of the United States of America. Yes, we're going to end that because it's ridiculous.
Through executive action?
Well, if we can, through executive action. I was going to do it through executive action, but then we had to fix COVID first, to be honest with you. We have to end it.
Let's talk.
Okay, so let's talk. Let's talk about this birthright citizenship. What the Democrats have been doing with birthright citizenship is a perversion of what it is, 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment doesn't mean if you set foot in this country and you give birth that your kids are U.S. citizens and are totally set up for life with you because they're your anchor baby, okay? With free housing, free food, and maybe even a free life all the way through graduate school and college. That's not what it meant. The 14th Amendment, which was passed and ratified in the 1860s, was after the slaves were freed. After the Civil War was over, the 14th Amendment was established to establish that the freed slaves were American citizens, were U.S. citizens. Because there was a real debate at the time, because the Democrats, they just lost their slaves, the Democrats, and the Democrats were running around saying that the freed slaves are not U.S. citizens because they were born in slavery. So the 14th Amendment was passed to establish that the freed slaves that were freed by the Republicans, that were being held by the Democrats, were U.S. citizens and had all the rights of a U.S. citizen, including black men who could vote. Women couldn't vote no matter what color they were until 1920. That's what that was about. And then later it was expanded to declare that all Indians, U.S. Native American Indians, okay, the Native American Indians, whatever they want to call them in their PC circles, that they are also, no matter what tribe you're a member of, you are also U.S. citizens. That's what that was about, right? The slaves were free. That was a question. We had all these Indian wars that were going on forever, and treaties were being made. That's what it was about. It wasn't about what's going on now. It wasn't about getting knocked up south of the border, stepping foot to the nearest hospital north of the border, and giving birth and then being set up for life. That's not what the 14th Amendment is all about. It's a perversion of it. It doesn't mean come here illegally, be a criminal because you're in the United States illegally, get knocked up and give birth so that you have an anchor baby here. That's not what this is all about. It is a perversion of the 14th Amendment. And make no mistake about it, the Democrats have been perverting the Constitution for their sick, twisted agendas all of our lives. They say, as there's two big examples that we hear most of the time. I call them liberal urban legends. This birthright citizenship is a liberal urban legend. The other two big liberal urban legends are and these urban legends have become mainstream thought in this country. One big liberal myth and urban legend is that the Constitution guarantees a separation of church and state. That is not true. That is not in the Constitution. What the Constitution says is that the United States government cannot establish a church of the United States because they had a church in England they were rebelling from. There is no separation of church and state, but most people think there is because this urban liberal legend has been preached so long by the left, like this birthright citizenship nonsense. The other one is that the Second Amendment does not guarantee private gun ownership. It's for militias, which would be the military and the government. That's not true either. I'm not going to go through a breakdown of all these things, because they've been talked about endlessly. But these are liberal urban legends and perversions that they've been lying about, and they've been lying about them for decades, including the birthright citizenship, and they've been using the birthright citizenship to replace the American people with South American people who they want to set up in a life and feel they'll be more loyal to the Democrats and vote Democrat for the next 200 years. So we'll take our first break. When we get back, there's a lot more to share now. Don't forget, it is Christmas shopping season. Still plenty of time to go to MyPillow.com and order your Christmas presents. Huge savings on some of the most popular MyPillow products with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, and free shipping on all orders over $75. That's amazing. So free shipping on top of the huge deals. Do your Christmas shopping. These are the lowest prices I've seen on so many things at MyPillow.com. I don't know how Mike Lindell's making any money. I don't see where the profit is on these prices. They're that low. But we'll profit from them because we can load up on MyPillow products, and everything at MyPillow.com makes a great Christmas gift. Promo code Kane, Kane, at checkout at MyPillow.com. You can also order by phone toll free, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Shannon on the radio with a quick reminder.
Welcome, everyone. If you're new, make sure you subscribe.
The Beatles.
Okay, and if you're already subbed, do me the favor of liking the video.
Hey.
Yes, yes, yes. These people are out of their freaking minds. Yep. They are out of their freaking minds. Yeah, if you'd like to call in, please do. The number is pinned in the chat. Now, this birthright citizenship is bad news. We'll be back shortly, guys. I think Trump did a great job with Kristen Welker. Just totally got it all out there. It was perfect. Mm-hmm. We'll be back right after this.
Prices are guaranteed to be the lowest you'll find anywhere. No appointment, doctor's order, or prescription is needed, and you're in and out in 15 minutes or less. They offer every lab and blood work your doctor could order.
It definitely is a new day. All right, here we go. 10 seconds.
These are the only two advertising on our radio station, so don't use the rest. Only go to any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs, and make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Our number toll free 1-888-465-2631. So I'm going over this incredible interview that President Trump did yesterday with Kristen Welker over at NBC's Meet the Press. And I mean, they are just, you know, the media really have not accepted that Trump is so popular at all. And the questions she's asking are like questions from like 6 months ago. Here is Kristen Welker talking to President Trump about the deportations. This is awesome stuff.
It's about another group of people, the estimated 4 million families in America who have mixed immigration status. So I'm talking about parents who might be here illegally, but the kids are here legally. Your borders are
You're talking about separation.
Yeah, well, I mean, there are two aspects to this. Your borders are Tom Homan said they can be deported together. Correct. Is that the plan?
Well, that way you keep the well, I don't want to be breaking up families, so the only way you don't break up the family is you keep them together and you have to send them all back.
Yeah. Okay, so they'll send them all back. So if dad or mom are illegal and the kids aren't, or dad's illegal and mom's not, the U.S. government will pay to transport all of them back to the original country. So they won't be broken up unless they choose to be broken up and let the illegal leave without the rest of the family. That's it. Where is this idea coming from that we owe a debt to these Latin American countries? I don't understand this. I don't agree with the reparations rhetoric, but at least I don't agree with it and they're wrong, but at least they have a premise to build a story on, which is slavery. What have we ever done to South America, Latin America, or any of these guys? It's insane. And this whole entitlement that they have some right, obligation to come here, and we have an obligation to take care of them, is insane. When did all this start? We've never not had a problem with the border. And those of you out there on the left that have been talking about tariffs and how bad tariffs are, which of course are import taxes, look at what's happened. Trump's tariff talk. In this same interview with Kristen Welker, Trump pointed out, it may be in one of the clips I play, but Trump pointed out that because of the import tax threat, the president of Mexico immediately used her army to stop multiple caravans of illegals and broke them up that were coming to the United States. He said that he called the border. He checks in at the border. And the other day they said, no one's there. People have stopped crossing illegally in large numbers. I mean, there's here or there, some here or there, there always will be. Because Mexico has clamped down on it over the threat of the import taxes. See the power of it? We talked about last week about Macron, but look what happened with President Trump at Notre Dame on Saturday. Not only was President Trump, as president-elect, invited, because this was by invite, personal invite, to Notre Dame, Macron put Donald Trump in the seat of honor, sitting right next to him. Wasn't that something? Did you see that? Macron obviously gets the number one seat because it's his country. And then Trump, it's Macron, Trump, and then Macron's wife. And then Jill. It's amazing. Did you guys watch the Notre Dame event? I watched all of it. And they kept doing close-ups of different people in the audience. I don't know who they were. Probably presidents and prime ministers of European countries. I don't know. Who knows who the prime minister of Denmark is and all these countries? Who cares? They're nobodies, but they kept showing them because it's Europe and they know who they are. President Trump is not even the president yet. He's president-elect. And he was seated right there in the best seat of the House. Now, why is that? Yeah, it's out of respect for him, out of respect for the United States, but also at the tariff threat, the discussion of import taxes. Now, we may not have champagne in California, but sparkling wine is champagne, guys. It's just as good. And I'm sure we make cheese over here, too. What do we need from France? Not much. And because of the terror threat, Mexico caved, Canada caved, France caved, surrendered France to Trump, and all of Europe. I mean, did you see the world leaders climbing over each other just to be near President Trump? And, last time in his first term when he was over there and he was with all the European leaders, he pushed his way to the front of the line. You remember that? He shoved his way through these prime ministers and presidents of these pathetic European has-been countries and made his way to the front, as was his proper place. This time he didn't have to push his way through. They put him to the front. He didn't have to push his way through. He was just, boom, there. That's right. Prince of Wales waiting around. I saw this video of the Prince of Wales waiting, it seemed like an eternity, in the doorway for Trump. If you see this, It was just over and over, just nonstop sucking up to Trump because America is back. It was absolutely amazing. The way that President Trump was treated with the proper respect in France over the weekend. I mean, I knew he'd be in the front row, but I didn't think he'd get the prime spot. And then Jill, I saw Jill there with Ashley Biden, and my first thought when I saw Jill is, oh, she must be hating this. They're all sucking up to Trump. Trump's right there next to Macron. She's off to the side. She probably thinks she should be there next to Macron, not Trump, and all this stuff. And then you see how friendly Jill Biden was to Trump. Now, we all know that Jill Biden voted for Trump, okay? They hate Kamala. They're pissed at the Democrats, and she wore red head to toe when she went to vote. Remember Jill Biden? So we know they voted for Trump. But you could tell by the way that Jill Biden was talking to Trump that there's a new era we're in now. A lot of people saying she was flirting with him. Maybe so. It's probably nice to sit next to a man that doesn't smell like an adult diaper. She's not used to that. Maybe she was flirting. I don't know. But she certainly was very friendly. Not the reaction you would have expected, huh? Exactly. All right, now we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. There's more to share. We've only just begun. There's so much to cover. My name is Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio.
Mm-hmm. Let me see here.
I want to ask you, sir, one final question. What do you want to say to Americans who didn't support you?
Okay, that's good. I'm going to play that when we get back. Welcome, everyone. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. Welcome everyone. Let me see. I got so many clips to play from that interview. Let's see what other ones I have. Oh yeah. That's a good one. Well, she doesn't, Jill Biden, she's like Hillary. She doesn't realize she's an old lady. She thinks she's hot for some reason. How she could think that, I don't know. Well, she's been running the country the last 4 years, Joe Biden. She's in effect been the president in many ways. You know, I mean, these are not things that these people just walk away from. We'll be back shortly, guys.
You heard about him on the radio.
Tom Laporta here from Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Building Restoration.
I am pleased to say our relationship with the Steve Kane Show and the show's listeners keeps getting stronger and stronger. The Steve Kane Show listeners are truly the best customers we have ever had. They are courteous, intelligent, honest, and quite a joy to work with. We have completed thousands of projects for the listeners, from repairs, single-family homes, large HOA complexes, and churches, with great success, and every one of those customers are like family. We have installed all kinds of roofs, from asphalt shingles, clay and concrete tile, standing metal seam, slate tile, and flat roof systems. So come on and let our family take care of your family. Call me on my cell at 954-604-4602 or find us on the web at again is 954-604-4602.
I got a couple of Trump shirts coming. I ordered 3 new Trump shirts. I was just checking the tracking. I'll have them in a few days. They are the most badass Trump shirts I have. I cannot wait to get them. All right, we'll be back right after this.
Of menopause. No more mood swings, better sleep, and no more night sweats. Call Dr. Matez for a free consultation today at 561-320-8893. That's 561-320-8893.
Here we go.
I
can't wait to get them.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Celebrating 47 years on the...
All righty, we are back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show, talking about this incredible interview that President Trump did on Meet the Press, where he just filleted Kristen Welker on that interview. It was a great interview. Let me play this. I got a lot of good clips from it, and we've hit on some good ones already, but here's this is an awesome one, too. They're all good. I mean, you know.
One final question. What do you want to say to Americans who didn't support you in this campaign?
You know, first off, what kind of stupid question is that? You know, when have you ever heard a Democrat ask that question? What are you going to say to all these conservatives that didn't support you? I've never heard that, you know? And not only that, they feel like this is old school, and I've told you guys about this. Usually when Republicans win, the first thing they want to do is act like Democrats and bring the Democrats on board. Who cares? You know, you're either with Trump or you're against him. And, you know, I'm sorry. If you're not with Trump, something's wrong with you.
You, sir, one final question. What do you want to say to Americans who didn't support you in this campaign?
I'm going to treat you every bit as well as I have treated the greatest MAGA supporters. There's never been anything like MAGA in the history of this country. These people are so dedicated to making America great again. It's very simple. And I'm going to treat them just the same as I treat MAGA. We're going to treat everybody good. We want success for our country. We want safety for our country. You know, our country's under threat, as you know. We have a tremendous threat militarily because of the power of weapons and weaponry. It's a tremendous threat. Nobody talks about it, but it's a tremendous threat. I want to treat everybody the same. I want to treat them well. And at the end of this 4 years, I have a big head start because I was there for 4 years fairly recently. A lot of bad things were done during the 4 years that I wasn't there, and mostly in what they've done in terms of our reputation overseas. Our reputation is so bad, so shot. I got to bring it back, and I also have to bring back civilization to our country. Our country is a crime pod, and we have to get rid of crime. We have so many things to do. We have to do the prices, we have to do all of that. But we have to get the criminals out of our country. We have to bring down crime. People have to be able to walk across the street and buy a loaf of bread without being shot, and that's going to happen. But what I say to them is, I love you, and we're going to all work together, and we're going to bring it together. And you know what's going to bring it together? Success. I saw that just prior to COVID coming in, I had polls that were the highest anyone. McLaughlin and Fabrizio said George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, if they came back from the dead and they ran as president and vice president, couldn't beat you, sir.
Yeah. And, you know, the thing with Kristen Welker here, when Democrats win, They don't concern themselves with people that didn't vote for them. In fact, they're so upset that people don't support them. They're trying to replace us with South Americans who they feel will be more loyal. Here's another clip. Kristen Welker, Meet the Press yesterday. Great interview. Her questions were rude and everything, no doubt about it, but his answers were spectacular. Listen.
Sir, I don't have to tell you this because you've talked about it. It comes at a time when the country is deeply divided. And now
who says she feels it's divided because she lost. Obama lost. The Democrats lost. The country's not divided. The country's united. Now, the media players are out of the loop. They have no juice. They have no influence. Their wokeism has been rejected nationwide by not just the election of Trump, but the Republican majority in the House and the Senate. The country's not divided. You're just out of the loop. That's all.
Sir, I don't have to tell you this because you've talked about it. It comes at a time when the country is deeply divided. And now you're going to be leading this country for the next 4 years. For the sake of unifying this country, will you concede the 20?
Obsessed with that. That's all they care about.
Why would I do that? But let me just say, when you say the country is deeply divided, I'm not the president.
This is good.
But you're going to be the president.
No. I'm not the president. So when you say it's deeply divided, I agree. But Biden's the president. I'm not. And he has been a divider. And you know where he divided it more than anything else, and it probably backfired on him, I think definitely, is weaponization. When he weaponized the Justice Department and he went after his political opponent, me. He went after his political opponent violently because he knew he couldn't beat him. And I think it really was a bad thing. And it really divided our country.
Sir, Democrats have control of the White House now. They didn't in 2020. If they are going around stealing elections.
See, this going back 4 years ago. She says the country's divided. He's a divider. How's he gonna unify things? They broke into the man's house. They ransacked his wife's closet and his child's room, and they call him the divider? This permanent Washington class are so sick and twisted, they don't even hear themselves. They're on a completely another level than we're on. And they're never going to accept that their viewpoint is out of fashion. Woke is dead. This next clip, she's talking about abortion and the abortion pill. And when Roe v. Wade was overturned, it was barely a mention in the media. I was expecting coast-to-coast protest in the streets with women in their Handmaid's Tales costumes protesting the overturning of Roe v. Wade, and there was hardly a mention in the streets of America over it because the American people are not on board with that. Listen, this is Kristen Welker with Trump talking about abortion, okay, which they're very much obsessed with on the left still.
Will you restrict the availability of abortion pills when you're in office?
I'll probably stay with exactly what I've been saying for the last 2 years, and the answer is no.
You commit to that?
Well, I commit. I mean, do things change? I think they change. I hate to go on shows like Joe Biden. I'm not going to give my son a pardon. I will not, under any circumstances, give him a pardon. I watched this, and I always knew he was going to give him a pardon, and so I don't like putting myself in a position like that. So things do change, but I don't think it's going to change at all.
Okay, Trump has been asked and answered this question about abortion by the mainstream media in every single interview he's done over the last year. And he has always said he is not going to outlaw abortion. He's even said multiple times he would veto a law banning abortion. The Republican Party platform, even though most Republicans like me are pro-life and against abortion, the Republican Party platform was never to outlaw abortion. It was always to overturn Roe v. Wade and let the states decide. In some states, things are stricter. In some states, they're more liberal. And they just don't want to hear that. They were rejected. They ran an entire campaign with Kamala that was based on the abortion issue. They thought they were going to get women back over this abortion issue. They lost. 40% of Gen Z women who are the childbearing years voted for Trump. The abortion issue, it's like arguing for Betamax versus VHS tapes, cassette versus CD, right? I mean, this is insane. These are very old-fashioned. What are they going to talk about? Free love next time? You know, they're talking about things that have been settled, that no one cares about, and they keep going to these tired old arguments. It's really almost like out of habit. You know, the liberals think that they're great thinkers and they see things. They're not great thinkers. They have about 4 or 5 thoughts, maybe half a dozen at most, and they just repeat them, whoever the person is doing the talking. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, why would Trump do an interview with someone like this? Because, you know, it's what he said. He's not the president of the MAGA people. He's the president of the American people, right, of the United States. And he needs to go and talk to these mainstream liberal people so that liberal-minded people that may not have voted for him can see what he's really about, as opposed to seeing him through the filter of how they want to portray him. And I'll tell you, Meet the Press did something which was really spectacular. I was surprised that they did this. And I watched it. They released, you know, what aired on Meet the Press was a very edited down version of the interview with President Trump and Kristen Welker. They uploaded, and it was over an hour long, close to an hour and 10 minutes. They uploaded the entire unedited interview with Kristen Welker and Donald Trump on YouTube and on their website. And I watched it on YouTube yesterday. I was amazed that they did that so quickly, like in the middle of the day. Right after the show aired in all the time zones, they put it up there. They wanted to Meet the Press to get the scoop on all their local affiliates. But as soon as that happened, they dropped the whole unedited interview, and they did it on a dime. So there is some realization on some level of how out of touch that they are. All right, we're going to take our last break of the first hour. If you're on hold, hang in there. My name is Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Our number toll free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
This year, your holiday gathering should be unforgettable. The perfect location for your business or family celebration is here. Amrit Ocean Resort is now open.
All right.
A next-generation luxury wellness resort, merging Eastern principles with Western luxury. Take advantage of holiday specials for events, dining, overnight stays, and spa. Imagine your holiday party with private ocean view dining on the picture-perfect beaches and impressive facilities of Amrit Ocean Resort. Whether you're entertaining 10 people or 200, let Amrit customize a menu and private dining room for your gathering. Top it off with a company spa day or some winter team building on the beach. Your holiday to remember is waiting at Amrit Ocean Resort. Book today at amritocean.com. That's AMRIT Ocean.com.
Have you put off buying new tires because you thought they were too expensive? Find friendly prices at Friendly Tire in Margate on both new and used tires. New tires as low as $70 a tire. That's out the door and on the road, because Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire or mount the tire. They have thousands of used tires in stock too,
Oh, yeah.
starting at just $30.
I thought he did great. Well, thank you, Janelle. Welcome. Thank you. We'll be back shortly.
977-9445.
Live for one special night, the Fab Four presents U.S.
I cannot believe it is almost Christmas. I got my tickets to visit my daughter in Los Angeles. I'm going to Los Angeles next month. Last night, my daughter and her friends were out somewhere in LA, and they called us. My daughter called us and wanted us to pull up on YouTube. There's a live street camera from where she was at in Los Angeles. So her friends called us up. We put it on YouTube and then watched them on the street camera in LA. It's pretty cool. All the modern tech. When your kids grow up and move out, you can still keep in touch. We're back right after this.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, welcome back, one and all. I'm Brian, Steve Kane Show, going over this incredible Meet the Press interview with President Trump, where he just filleted Kristen Welker. Our number 1-888-465-2631. Toll-free call, no matter where you're listening. Good morning, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning. It's Brian from Vero Beach.
Hey, what's up, Vero Beach?
Hey, I just wanted to let you know that it should be named Meet the Depressed because...
Yeah, Mark Levin's thing?
No. I should be more original. Pardon me, I'm in the hospital, but I want...
Oh, no. What are you in the hospital? You're listening to me in the hospital? What are you in the hospital for?
Well, I had an MI, a little heart problem there.
Oh, no. You okay?
Yeah. Well, hopefully I'm in here for observation.
Oh, okay. Just observation. Okay.
Things will be working out okay. But my main thing is, when is the last time you saw Joe Biden come into the press room to do when they did the press briefing?
A real interview, right? Not one that's highly edited and all that, yeah.
Right. But you saw Trump come in there during his first term. It's going to be great to see him come in there and address the press corps.
So you went. What happened? Did you have chest pains or something that you went into the hospital for?
Yeah, I had some chest pains, and it turned out my levels, the enzyme levels were high. So out of precaution, they.
When you go to the emergency room with chest pains, it's an automatic 24-hour admission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, it's just been a mess. But I had my original one happened in 2023.
What, a heart attack? You had a heart attack in the past?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, I hope you're. I don't know. Is listening to me talk about politics, is that good for the heart or bad for the heart when you're in the hospital trying to be calm? I don't know.
No, for me, it's actually calm.
It's relaxing. Yes, that's good.
It is relaxing.
That's good.
To see where we're at.
All right. I appreciate the call. Well, good luck to you, and check back so we know you didn't kick the bucket. If you got to call me by next Monday.
I will.
Okay, take care. It'll be a mystery. Did he make it or not? I don't know. See how addicted this show is, like crack to people. He's so addicted. He's in the hospital, admitted after chest pains. He's a past heart attack sufferer, and he's still in the hospital. Listen, that's some loyal listenership. Oh my goodness. We really, I got to tell, a lot of times when I say this, people think it's sucking up, and it's not. We are so blessed with the listening audience that we have. You guys have been, this is the longest running radio show in Florida, and it's the longest running radio show because of the great support we've gotten for all of you out there. And, when people find the show, and they first find the show, sometimes it can be a little shocking to them, but once people find the show, they're locked in, and I do appreciate your loyalty, as does Steve, to the program these many, many years. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike. How you doing?
I'll bet you that Kristen Welker thought she knew she was going to do an hour and 10 minutes or whatever it was. I bet you with the questions she had, I bet you she thought she could try and set a narrative.
Well, she tried. I mean, she asked a lot of her liberal questions, but Trump handled her very well.
Well, what she doesn't understand is she's dealing with the great MAGA king.
That's right.
This guy knows how to handle these people.
Mm-hmm.
He's so deep in their head, it's not even funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm starting to wonder, these never Trumpers and liberals, I mean, they must really be in charge. When I was watching Trump at Notre Dame, it really sunk in. He's been reelected. It's hard to believe. It's still, I get goosebumps every time I think about it. And here he is being honored like no president-elect. I have never seen a president-elect be honored like President Trump was honored at Notre Dame, and the sitting first lady was off to the side. It was nice to see. It was really nice to see. I've never seen anything like that with a president-elect. They're usually in the background.
There's a reason why Zelensky was there. You know?
Yeah, with his hand out.
We know, yeah, with his hand out, because he knows it's over. He knows it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I appreciate the call. I appreciate the call. And you notice how everyone, you know, Notre Dame is, I know it's not one of the wonders of the world, but it is probably, if you were going to make a list of the top 10 things that are important to Western civilization, Notre Dame's got to be one of them, right? It's got to be maybe in the top 5, like, pillars of Western civilization. And maybe it's certainly in the top 10. I don't know. I've never put such a list together, but it's up there. And the reason that you wear a suit and tie is to be respectful. And then you've got Zelensky, who was there. He was in the front row too, but way down at the end, in his costume, his fake uniform that doesn't have a speck of dirt on it, because he's fighting the war against the Ruskies. He looked like an idiot, didn't he? I think he did. I don't know if he's aware that the party's over. I'm not so sure. So here's another clip. This is Kristen Welker talking with President Trump. This is Meet the Press yesterday about the Venezuelan gangs. Listen to this nonsense. Oh, hold on. Let me pull it up here. Hold on. Here we go.
And the Venezuelan gangs are the worst in the world. They're vicious, violent people. And you see what they've done in Colorado and other places. They're taking over, literally taking over apartment complexes and doing it with impunity. They don't care. They couldn't. They just are. They're in the real estate business.
You know, the local police say they're not, that is not the case in Colorado.
Oh, it's totally the case. I mean,
you don't believe the local police.
I play it. I used to.
See, don't you like this? She's trying to tell us that the Venezuelan gangs aren't taking. You know, the Venezuelan gangs are in Miami. She's trying to tell us, don't believe your lying eyes. All that footage that we've been seeing in Colorado, local police say it's not true. Really? The local police say it's not true? You know, the local police are afraid of those guys. They're outgunned and outmatched, and I don't blame them for being afraid. But Kristen Welker, don't believe your lying eyes. All that footage from that apartment building, you didn't see that.
You know, the local police say they're not, that is not the case in Colorado.
Oh, it's totally the case. I mean,
you don't believe the local police.
I play it. I used to play it at my rallies every single night. No, they're breaking into doors. They're taking over the building.
But sir, you
and by the way, the police are afraid to do anything.
Yeah, you know, it's not unusual for police to be afraid in certain situations, and I don't blame the police for being afraid of those gangs. I mean, you know, they're obviously military trained. They're so fearless that a lot of them don't even wear masks. But, you know, this idea that America first is bad, where does this come from? Where is this idea from the American left that we are obligated to bring these people into this country? Now, you know, Friday I was talking Friday afternoon to Rocky from Angel Water. We were talking, and he was calling. He says, if I don't see you, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, because, you know, he's busy. Everybody's busy this time of year. But Rocky at Angel Water, he came out to my house. He'll do the same for you. He's a good MAGA guy, and he will test your water so you can find out what you're drinking, cooking with, and bathing with, both you and your family. You know, the Angel Water water filtration system is amazing. I've been drinking so much water, and I got to tell you something. My wife and I, we were spending a lot of money on bottled water in the house. A lot of bottled water, a lot of money. Because bottled water is expensive. I remember when I was a kid, bottled water was a luxury for the rich. And I don't know when they started marketing it to like regular people, but they used to call it, you know, remember what they used to call it? You could see this in my favorite Christmas movie, Die Hard. They even talk about this. A mineral water. Would you like a mineral water? They called it mineral water. And now it's just bottled water, but it is expensive. And you know the Angel water filtration system. You'll have mineral water. You'll have sparkling water. You will have water better than most of the bottled waters coming out of all of your sinks, out of your refrigerator, into your dishwasher, into your washing machine. Every place in your home where there's water, it'll be water filtered from the Angel water filtration system, and it filters out all these chemicals and toxins and just honestly poisons that are in our water that we just assume that we have to have in our water for some reason. We can't do anything about it. Well, that's not true. You know, a water filtration system, I always thought was like a luxury. It's not a luxury. It's a necessity, as you will find when Rocky, and he'll do this at no charge from Angel Water, test your water like he did mine. The Angel water filtration system also takes out things that other filtration systems do not. They're offering a free under-the-sink reverse osmosis system with the purchase of a whole house refiner. I have both of these, the whole house refiner and the reverse osmosis system. You will love it. It will change your life. You'll never buy bottled water again. You know what? I got myself, my wife got it. She got me a glass bottle that I carry around. It's got like rubber. And I put ice in it. You know, even the ice in my ice maker in the refrigerator is ice that was made from water filtered by the Angel water filtration system. So I put the ice in it and I get the water and boom, it's right there. And it's like, it's better than bottled water. I compare it to the Fiji water because I always have liked Fiji water. But it's like having Fiji water coming right out of your sink, right out of your refrigerator. It's amazing. Call them. Get your water tested for free like I did. 561-899-6585. 561-899-6585. That's 561-899-6585 for Angel Water. I wanted to play this. This blew my mind. They've got to, okay, they're trying to get us bogged down in another war in Syria. Okay? Let's face it. That's what they're trying to do here. Okay? If Kamala Harris had won, God help us, if Willie Brown's girlfriend, this homewrecker wino, had won, the United States military would be mobilizing for a major military movement with a coalition allied force into Syria. Insane. Trump says we're not going to have anything to do with it. You know, there's never going to be peace over there. It is very tribal. There's always going to be, the way I would describe it is there's always going to be a certain level of anarchy in that region. There's nothing you can do to have peace over there. But the military-industrial complex needs to be fed. If anyone had won this election other than Donald Trump, we'd be going to war in Syria. Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis, it'd be war in Syria. Kamala Harris, war in Syria. Biden, if he wouldn't have dropped out and won, war in Syria. Trump says they're on their own. It's collapsed because Iran and Russia are in trouble. He said Russia has lost 600,000 in the war in Ukraine. They're having economic troubles on top of that. Iran is bogged down by Israel's response after the Hamas attacks and the economy. They're on the ropes. They're weak. That's why it collapsed. And he's going to let it collapse. It's not our fight. You know, it was stable over there till Bush and Cheney lied about WMDs, took Saddam Hussein out of power, and then everything collapsed over there. It's not our fight. And I'm glad to hear President Trump say that. One of the reasons, there's many reasons why they get involved in these wars, but one of them is, you know, we've got a border problem here, but they like to take the Middle Eastern people and move them into Europe. Well, I got something on that I'm going to share with you that'll blow your mind when we get back. All right, 1 hour down, 2 to go. It's Monday. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Our number 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be back right after our top of the hour break. Don't go anywhere.
WSFS 103 HD3 Miramar, WIRK 103.1 HD3 in Midtown, and her in Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM, and in Martin County on 106.9 FM. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the Your Cooling Weather Center.
Holy smokes.
Choice for same-day AC service and installation. Here's your oldies forecast.
Welcome, everyone. If you're new, make sure you subscribe.
Weather brought to you by All Year Cooling. Enjoy free AC replacement estimates along with same-day service and installation. Visit allyearcooling.com to schedule your service today. And remember, the All Year family is here to serve your family all year long. And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Now, guys, I'm putting in the chat here a link to my wife's channel. My wife started a new channel a week ago, and she already has over 1,000 subscribers. So my wife's channel is growing like leaps and bounds. It's called Gucci MAGA. Gucci MAGA. I just pinned it in the live chat. And if you guys could subscribe and watch those videos, I'm trying to, help her get her channel monetized. So you have to do more than just subscribe. You got to watch the videos because, to get a channel monetized, you got to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. And it's hard to get those, So if you guys could both subscribe and check out her videos, it's very good. It's my wife's podcast that she does all by herself without me. It's called Gucci MAGA, and check it out. Okay, I just pinned it into the live chats, but you can find it on YouTube. Just search Gucci MAGA.
He's the host of the Jupiter Joe Money Show, and he's been doing that for over a decade. You need Jupiter Joe's book, The Retirement Know-It-All. Mention my name, Brian Craig.
I mean, her channel is growing so fast. She has over 1,000 subscribers, and I think she started it a week ago. And it's last Monday she had 60 subscribers. Now she's got over 1,000.
Take advantage of his free phone consultation too. Go to
I mean that's fast. So that's part one to get the channel monetized. Part two is the 4,000 watch hours. So please subscribe and watch, and help her channel grow. I appreciate that, guys. If it wasn't for my wife, I'd be on the streets. My wife takes care of everything. I don't even know what size underwear I wear. My wife handles everything. I mean, I tell you.
Brian Craig here. When it comes time to get my blood work done, I don't have time to spend hours in the doctor's office or waiting hours for one of those big labs. That's why I go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs for all of my lab work. Their techs are highly skilled and professional, and their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest on lab work you'll find anywhere. Appointments aren't necessary. Doctor's orders and prescriptions, they're not needed either. I'm in and out in 15 minutes.
Oh boy, oh boy.
The next day in my email box, and they also send it to my doctor. There's lots of Any Lab Test Nows around, but these are the only two advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is at the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, between Palmetto Park Road and Hillsborough Boulevard on the east side of State Road 7, 441. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is on the southeast.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, my wife's podcast, Gucci MAGA, on YouTube. But please subscribe and watch the videos.
Don't forget to mention that you heard about them on the radio.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Alrighty, hour number 2 has begun. Call us on hold, stand by. This is Brian, of course, and you're listening to the Steve Kane Show. Flow Rider's longest running radio show. All right, before we go to the phones, I've been talking about this incredible interview President Trump did with Meet the Press yesterday. Just filleted her. And I came across something yesterday. This is the Polish president of Poland. And when these incidents like what's going on now, what remember it was the Muslim Spring, now the Syrian collapse, they use this to move as many Muslims to Europe as possible. And it's been very successful. That's why England is now a Muslim country. It's really crazy. You know, there was a book about 15 years ago or so called Londonstan, warning of this. And if you remember, I can't remember what year this was close to 20 years ago, okay? Obama was president, and there was I think Obama was president. Yeah, he was president. Yes, I do remember, because Clapper was the guy then. There was a terrorist attack, an Islamic terrorist attack in London on the Underground, their subway. And they did a poll, 80%, it was 83%, if I remember correctly. I might be off by a percentage or two, but it was over 80%. I want to say 83 popped in my mind. But from my test-taking days, the first answer is usually the correct one, but it was over 80%. Over 80% of Muslims living in London were sympathetic with the terrorists that set the bomb off in the London Underground. Can you believe that? And that was like 15 years ago or something. It's got to be much worse now. And they use these incidents in the Middle East to move more Muslims to invade and take over Europe. They have a border issue similar to ours. So this is an interview with the president of Poland. And this guy's awesome. I don't know, maybe he's like Polish MAGA. He could be, if he was a natural-born U.S. citizen, he could be the president after J.D. Vance. I love this guy. Listen to this. It's an interview with the president of Poland. Let me pull it out. Here we go.
How many refugees has Poland taken?
0.
I love it. Don't you love it? 0. 0. And the reporter interviewing him is like in shock.
How many refugees has Poland taken?
0.
And you're proud of that?
Yes.
If you're asking me about Muslim illegal immigration, none, not even one, will come to Poland. Not even one if it's illegal. We took over 2 million Ukrainians who are working, who are peaceful in Poland. We will not receive even one Muslim because this is what we promised.
But I asked not about illegal immigrants, I asked about refugees. And Jean-Claude Juncker, the Commission President, says that you're racist. You sound proud of the fact that you haven't taken any refugees.
Of course, because this is what our people expected from our government. That's number one. This is why.
By the way, he's not the president of Poland. I misspoke. He's a member of parliament in Poland.
Was elected, but this is why Poland is so safe. This is the reason why we had not even one terrorist attack. Look at the streets in Poland, and we can be called populists, nationalists, racists. I don't care. I care about my family and about my country.
Yeah, I mean, don't you love this guy? Let's move him here, and him and Nigel Farage can be in Congress. Let's make them U.S. citizens. I mean, this guy's well, that's how it should be. You're not responsible for the Syrians. You're responsible for the people of your own country. Polish MAGA. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, IB and Broward.
Hey, IB. What's up?
Boy, you saw that handshake Macron gave Trump when he came?
Well, I would say Trump gave Macron the handshake about 4 times.
I meant the way he held his hand on the first handshake, like he was like a bro, rather than the diplomatic kind of a handshake. The way he grabbed it, then he got the photo up when he went in the door, knowing that 100% import tax is coming. So then he was taking the photo.
Oh, it was great.
And look at John Kerry. I mean, if you take a look at all the people in that building, the building in that cathedral that the Muslims burned down because they are against Christianity. That's the opposite of what they are, the Quran. Okay, that's why they burned the church down years ago. So it's beautiful to see the church back, and Trump sitting in the spot that he was. But what was John Kerry doing there? It's kind of curiosity. I never did like Zelensky, how he's so disrespectful when he first came to the White House and never, with his scruffy beard, he never wore anything like to show some kind of hey, I represent a country, I'm here. He always looks that way. I just don't understand why he thinks that way. And isn't he supposed to be a Jew? And he banned the first thing he did was ban the Orthodox.
He's banned. He's suspended elections. He has oppressed members of the media and shut down disagreeing media. He has shut down churches, so they have no freedom of speech, no freedom of religion, and no democracy in Ukraine. He's a dictator.
I wonder why would he be in that church in the first place? They invited him and why. But as for that lady last night on the interview, I think a 15-year-old could have done a better job. And for her to say that the police said that there was no such thing, the only reason I could think why they would say something so stupid is to always cover the tracks of the wrong because of the policies that they've done. To say that, hey, people were not taking...
Well, I would like to see the police officer who is the chief of the police over that apartment building in Aurora tell us that the gangs aren't there, and explain the video from the doorbell camera.
He's a college Democrat. He's not going to open his mouth.
Mm-hmm. All right, IB. Appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, conservative.
Oh, hey, Doug.
Man, when you mentioned England, I just had a friend came back from England, Spain. He said it's terrible. Muslims all over. They hate us. He said I'm never going to any place, staying in the United States from now on, because these countries have to change and go back to the way they should be, loving America, but right now they don't. So this is what's going on. I was so happy to see Trump doing this interview with this Christian person. At first I was like, oh, wow, man, why is he going to the enemy? But, man, it was so important that he goes out and on that show to let the people hear really what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
All these little things, man.
Yeah, it's better for him to be heard in his own words than through the filter of Joy Reid and Rachel Maddow.
Oh, yeah. Everybody has to hear what's going on. And these people are just amazing that they still want to go with this poison.
Mm-hmm.
It's just amazing, man. They're never going to stop. Right? They're never going to stop. They're just going to keep trying to put President Trump down and maggot.
Well, good luck. Good luck. By the way, it looks like Lara Trump may be our senator here in Florida. I mean, she resigned from the RNC. Why else would she resign from the RNC? Right? So has Trump made a deal with Ron DeSantis to make Lara Trump the senator from Florida? We'll find out. I mean, nobody knows, but everybody's talking about it now. I hate to see her go from the RNC because I think they've just gotten started with what they were doing. But I would much rather see her as our senator than I can't think of anybody else.
She's great. Well, she did a fantastic job for the RNC, man. Without her, it would have been a much harder victory. But, man, she did great. And wherever she goes,
it's possible, Lara, it is very possible Lara Trump could be the first female president, She did such a great job at the RNC. Everybody loves her. If she becomes our senator and gets some experience with that and does well, she could be J.D. Vance's running mate in 4 years.
Be interesting. That would be really nice to see her as vice president at least, because, like I said, she proved herself to be fantastic, and seems like everybody connected to Trump is going to be doing a great job. Now we just got to get more.
All right, Doug, I got to run. Thanks for the call. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines.
Are you going to fire the current FBI?
Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Scott Shannon with a subtle reminder that I'm back on the air this morning right after 10 a.m. with more of your favorite oldies on South Florida's True Oldies channel. Hi, everyone. This is Rocky from Angel Water. Do you have toxins in your water? Yes, you do. We have things like hexavalent chromium, chlorate, ammonium, chlorine, and a lot more. This is drink. Do ladies want soft drink? Have to use
Are there any spots this hour? Okay. All right, we're coming back.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 93 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere.
All righty, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. I want to talk about Friendly Tire and Margate. Friendly Tire and Margate have been with us for many, many years on the program, and I was a customer for 10 or 15 years before they joined us as a sponsor on the program. You know, at Friendly Tire and Margate, you can get new tires, brand new tires, out the door and on the road for as low as $70 a tire. Also, that is on common sizes on some of the most common vehicles on the road today. I want to give you Friendly Mike's number in a moment. He'll give you a quote right over the phone. And when I say out the door and on the road, it's important for you to understand this. It means just that. Because Friendly Tire, they don't add any charges to the tire process, right? They don't charge you to mount the tire, balance the tire, or even dispose of your old tires. So the price that Friendly Mike quotes you over the phone is out the door and on the road. He can handle tires on any type of vehicle, no matter how large, no matter how small. And even if you have Teslas and EVs, he can help you with that too. That requires, Teslas require special tools. He's got them. So you can get great deals. If you have run flats like I do, woo, you're going to save so much money. You're going to be, you're like excited to buy tires because you know how much you've paid for them in the past. So when you call, make sure you tell Mike that I sent you. He'll take extra good care of you. His number, 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. That's 954-977-9445. 45. Okay, so back to this. What I've been talking about mostly today is this interview that President Trump did with Kristen Welker on Meet the Press, which was just a great interview. And, when President Trump was answering her questions, you got to understand, she thinks he's nuts, okay? She doesn't understand. She doesn't understand. She's that permanent Washington class of brainwashed lunatics. And this clip is when she asked Trump about firing the director of the FBI. And of course, Trump had great answers. This is just great interview. I'm so glad he did this interview. It's really his first interview since winning re-election.
Are you going to fire the current FBI director, Christopher Wray, who you appointed?
Well, I can't say I'm thrilled with him. He invaded my home. I'm suing the country over it. He invaded Mar-a-Lago.
Now, just stopping there. I mean, the word choice is very important. He invaded my home. He invaded Mar-a-Lago. Isn't that? I mean, there's no legitimacy with that, and we know what they were doing. They were on a fishing expedition. They had gotten in their mind that he had some documents showing that Obama had authorized spying, and by the way, that'd be Biden too, had authorized spying on him, and that's what they went in for. But I like this: invaded my home, invaded Mar-a-Lago. I don't know if I've heard Trump use that word describing that god-awful break-in.
Are you going to fire the current FBI director, Christopher Wray, who you appointed?
Well, I can't say I'm thrilled with him. He invaded my home. I'm suing the country over it. He invaded Mar-a-Lago. I'm very unhappy with the things he's done. And crime is at an all-time high. Migrants are pouring into the country that are from prisons and from mental institutions, as we've discussed. I can't say I'm thrilled. I don't want to be Joe Biden and give you an answer and then do the exact opposite.
We're going to talk about
So I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to say is I certainly cannot be happy with him. You take a look at what's happened. And then when I was shot in the ear, he said, oh, maybe it was shrapnel. Where's the shrapnel coming from?
Yeah, remember that? I mean, he couldn't even say Trump got shot. Ray. But Kristen Welker thinks Trump's the one with the problem, not Ray.
What I'm going to say is I certainly cannot be happy with him. You take a look at what's happened. And then when I was shot in the ear, he said, oh, maybe it was shrapnel. Where's the shrapnel coming from? Is it coming from heaven? I don't think so. So we need somebody to straighten. You know, I have a lot of respect for the FBI. But the FBI's respect has gone way down over the last number of years.
Don't you have to fire him in order to make room for Kash Patel if he is in fact confirmed?
Well, I mean, it would sort of seem pretty obvious that if Kash gets in, he's going to be taking somebody's place, right? There's somebody is the man that you're talking about.
Yeah, well, Ray could resign and avoid that humiliation. You know, it blows my mind when you watch this interview. Kristen Welker thinks Trump's got something wrong with him wanting to replace Ray, who broke into his house. It's not Ray that's got the problem. It's Trump that's got the problem. And she still thinks these people are mental patients. And there's nothing we're ever going to be able to do that'll get through to them or that will get them to all of a sudden wake up and understand. You know, this permanent Washington class, they have been running the country for a long time, and they just don't understand any other viewpoint other than them continuing to run it, and they never will, okay? And these people like her that are in the national media are where they were, are where they are because of the connections that they have with the permanent Washington class. And really what you have, you know, I did not realize that this was a 100% true story, and I saw an incredible documentary on this person. There was a Japanese soldier who continued to fight until 30 years after the war in the Philippines. I can't remember his name. He was a lieutenant, and he was fighting the war until the 70s, and he was really fighting the war. He was launching attacks and doing things with his unit for 30 years after the war. And that's kind of what these permanent Washington class people are. They've lost the war, and they don't know it, and they're continuing to fight it, even though they've lost it. Now, you know, a lot of people think, and this Meet the Press interview shows you that this is not the case, but a lot of these people think that, I've heard a lot of people talk about this. Well, you know, they know Trump only has 4 years, so they're going to write it out. Does this sound like she's writing it out to you? I don't think so. I don't think so. Here's President Trump talking about what's going on in Ukraine.
There are people being killed in that war at levels that nobody's ever seen before. You have to go back to the Second World War, and even that, if you take a look at, and you know what it is? It's the soldiers largely. The cities have been emptied out and demolished. The country has been demolished. If I won that election, which you know how I feel about it, I won't get into it because we don't need to start that argument. I think it's an easy argument. It was really proven even more win than I had on this one. But you did had well, that's your opinion, but I disagree with it. Had I assumed kept control, number one, Israel wouldn't have happened. Number two, Ukraine would have never happened. It would have never happened, Ukraine, Russia. But the number of people that are being killed, soldiers, young, beautiful soldiers, hundreds of thousands of people are being killed. And you know, it's very interesting. It's level, totally level. The battlefields, totally level. You know what's happening? The only thing that stops a bullet, you know what it is a body, a human body. And the people that are being killed, hundreds of thousands on both sides. Russia's lost probably 500,000. Ukraine's lost higher than they say, probably 400,000. You're talking about hundreds of thousands of bodies laying all over fields. It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen, and it should have never been allowed to happen. Biden should have been able to stop it.
Okay. Now, this is an interesting clip here, okay, of Trump with Kristen Welker about the war. The loss of life and devastation is far greater than we've been told or know. So why haven't we seen it? Well, they don't want us to see it. And that might be contrary to what you would think, because you would think, well, don't they want the American people to see the devastation that Russia's brought from this invasion? No, because if we see how bad it is, how much destruction there's been in Ukraine, people are going to want peace talks and want the war over. And the military-industrial complex that the establishment in Washington are owned by don't want peace talks. They don't want the war over. So they don't want people to see how bad it is. And I was surprised when Trump said that they've lost 500,000 to 600,000 just on the Russian side. I had no idea it was that large of a loss. Did you? They don't want you to know that, because you'll demand that the war be over. And shame on Zelensky. I mean, out of everyone involved in this, he's the worst, because I've never heard him once talk about peace talks with Putin. Anyone in a situation like his, he's a much smaller country. There's no hope for Ukraine to defeat Russia. It's impossible. They're too big. And for him not to be trying to slow the war down, stop it, and have summit meetings and peace talks, he's a psychopath. He's a sociopath. He's like Nikki Haley and Joni Ernst. He's got this windfall of money coming his way through all of this, and he doesn't want it to stop. These are psychos. They're like BTKs and Night Stalkers and Ted Bundy types. These are sick, twisted people, whether it's Zelensky or Joni Ernst or Liz Cheney, whoever it is, Biden. These people with these endless wars are sociopaths. All right, we'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. Much more. We've only just scratched the surface. We'll get to right after this.
Making morning radio great again. It's The Steve Kane Show with Brian.
Insane in the Ukraine. Yeah, exactly. All right, hang in there, guys. We'll be back shortly. We'll be back shortly, guys. Oh my goodness.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 47 years on...
All right, call us on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Our number 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning.
Oh, hey, Richie. What's up?
All right, I'm listening to your commentary, and I watched the President Trump interview, and you ended by saying that Zelensky was a psychopath, and I don't agree with you at all. I believe, and this is something. A light bulb came on in my head actually 2 days ago. I saw Mitch McConnell say that strength is not enough to have peace. He's been running the White House with Biden. There's a connection there with all of these people. It's not psychopaths, and it's a partnership in the biggest money laundering that we've ever seen in our life.
Well, it can be both. It can be, Richie, it can be both. I mean, if you're sitting by, Ukraine's a small country. It's a small country. When you are a leader of a country and you're letting your people get wiped out for money, it's both financial crimes and corruption and also sociopathic behavior. You have to be insane to allow something like that to continue and not try to stop it for money. You have to be a crazy person.
Government is full of crazy people because
yes.
Republicans here. I'm talking the enemy within that President Trump talks about. There are a lot of and it's a partnership. Can you imagine the amount of money that we don't know about that all these guys are getting? It's Lockheed, it's all of them, it's Boeing. All of these, it's just one giant money laundering thing. The American taxpayers. Every tax time they look at the tax guy and they say, "Geez, I gotta make a check like you.
Yeah,
make a big check to the government." You know where your money's going? To
Yes. Yes.
and also to Mitch McConnell, who's the worst. He's an undercutting.
Well, not anymore. Not anymore. Those things are changing.
Influence, Brian. He's got influence in the Senate. He's the one behind all of this crap that's trying to stop Trump from getting his people in there.
Yeah. No doubt about it. No, there's no doubt. I appreciate the call, Richie. Take care. You know, and I give an example. This, all this business with Pete Hegseth, who, by the way, Trump came out and support big time of Pete Hegseth on Meet the Press too. So Joni Ernst, who hides behind this sex assault that happened to her in college, so she's, you know, that's why she's holding this up. It turns out that Joni Ernst is one of the fakest Republicans I've ever seen in my life. She praises George Floyd. She's for the transgendered in the service. But she campaigned and endorsed Nikki Haley against Trump in the primaries. But she's a big war hawk. Listen to this. This is Joni Ernst talking about Ukraine and Zelensky.
I think we can all recognize it has been a very emotional day. What I took away is that President Zelensky really is a fearless leader. And
oh my goodness. This is Joni Ernst, who's holding up the Pete Hegseth nomination.
Inspiration.
Oh my goodness.
People and to the rest of the world. But what we heard from the president this morning, President Zelensky, was that they need more help. They don't need it yesterday, tomorrow. They need it today. And we need to step up, and America must do more.
Must do more. See, this is what her opposition to Pete Hegseth is not about anything that she tells you. It's all about that. She's a military industrial complex warmonger, okay? She doesn't want the war to end. Now, if she were honest about that, I don't support Pete Hegseth because he doesn't support the war in Ukraine. I think we need to continue the efforts there. At least I could respect that. But for her to hide behind this sex assault nonsense that's been totally debunked, she's nothing but a liar. Here is Joni Ernst. Listen to this. She has these terrible things with Pete Hegseth. Here she is on The View talking about Liz Cheney. Oh, hold on. I lost the clip. I got to pull it up in a minute. I'll pull up the clip. She went on The View and was praising Liz Cheney. She gave a press conference where I'll play the clips later. I got to get them queued up. Where she was praising George Floyd. You know, the Pete Hegseth nomination is about to come back. And it's going to get full circle because the Democrats and the media, the rhinos, the never-Trumpers, and the military-industrial complex people are digging in. And we're going to find out real quick what's going on here, okay? We know, and I'll throw this out to you guys if you think this is a possibility. We know, there's one thing we know that's factual, okay? Two things. One, Lara Trump just resigned from the RNC. And everyone's saying that's for the Senate seat in Florida. We know that DeSantis is going to pick who the senator is to replace Marco Rubio for the next 2 years. We'll have a special election in 2 years, and whoever wins that will complete the term. Okay? Do you think, and do you think it's a possibility, and would you have a problem with Trump making DeSantis defense secretary to get Laura Trump that Senate seat? I know I brought this up last week, but now we're getting a little close because there's been some movement now with Lara Trump. I don't think she left the RNC for nothing. There's something going on. And it very well could be that. You know, in the Meet the Press interview, Kristen Welker asked Trump if the senators have called him and told him that Pete Hegseth is going to get approved, and he said no. He said no, which kind of caught me off guard. I was not expecting the no on that, and he was pretty firm about the no. So something is, there's not a lot of movement going on. They have done full steam ahead against Pete Hegseth. Whether or not he makes it or not, we don't know. But if Lara Trump's going to be our senator, and I've told you from the beginning, whatever deal Trump makes, whoever he picks, I'm always going to support everything Trump does without question. I think we got to. He's got a bigger picture here. He knows what he's doing. And if he plugs in DeSantis, whoever becomes the defense secretary, whether it's DeSantis or Pete Hegseth, they're going to carry out whatever directives and orders that President Trump gives. I don't worry about it. I mean, I want it to be Pete Hegseth. I don't want it to be anybody else. I like Pete Hegseth. I think he's perfect. But if it's not, you know, Joni Ernst, she will take the heat for this. If Pete Hegseth does not become the defense secretary, MAGA will remember this, and Joni Ernst will be the one behind it. Again, you know, these people are in this bubble where they don't see the reality that we all see. And I don't know how she may feel so secure in her Senate seat that she doesn't think anything could ever happen to that would cause her to lose her Senate seat. But this is a pretty big deal. And when I found out how left-wing she is, Rhino doesn't even begin to describe how bad she is. Praising George Floyd, are you kidding me? You know, I'll pull up some of the clips during the break and play some of them maybe after this break. I don't know how she was under the radar so long as being such a fake Republican, but I'll tell you this. What Kristen Welker told Trump, that there's no Venezuelan gangs in Aurora, Colorado, we all know that's not true because we've seen the video of it that was captured on the doorbell camera from one of the residents of that building. And Sloman's is offering you a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your smartphone with the installation of your Sloman's Shield. Sloman's is also going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. You get an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts for the doors and windows, lifetime warranty, a backup battery, plus a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. Give them a call, 1-833-283-5050. 1-833-283-5050. That's 1-833-283-5050. We'll be right back.
Hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Hi, it's Steve from Will Floor You. First and foremost, let me take a moment to wish you all a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday, and healthy and prosperous New Year, and to thank all our customers for your business. We sincerely appreciate the support for the past 41 years and look forward to bringing you the very best flooring products like Kerstin.
Yeah, there it is.
Premier flooring brand. Live life beautifully on luxurious carpets and rugs. The most durable and easy maintenance luxury vinyl and laminate. Waterproof, kid-proof, and excellent for our busy Florida lifestyle. Kerstin floors are so realistic, it's even better than nature intended. As always, here at Will Floor You, the very best price. We understand the investment in quality flooring and strive to make it affordable. Come see the complete selection of Kerstin floors. They go beyond beautiful. We'll Floor You in Kerstin, a combo hard to beat. Visit us in Jupiter in the corner of alternate A1A and Indiantown Road, in Stewart on US 1 just south of Walmart, and WillFloorYouFLA.com. We'll Floor You, your hometown floor store that has it all.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did, until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching, have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6652.
Do you have questions about retirement? Hi, it's Kathy Green, co-host of the Jupiter Joe Money Show. Tune in Monday, Wednesday, Thursday at 6 p.m. and Saturday mornings at 7:30 a.m. to the Jupiter Joe Money Show, where we answer all kinds of questions about retirement right here on your True Oldies channel.
Mike Lindell is offering wholesale pricing for Christmas. The standard MyPillow, just $14.88. They've never been offered this low before. That's right, just $14.88 and free shipping on orders over $75. So go to MyPillow.com right now and use our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, and get the standard MyPillow for just $14.88, the lowest price ever. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane.
Now is the best time to market this challenge to consider copper, gold, silver, battery metals, clean tech, biotech, and AI equities. Listen to Money Talk Radio South Florida with me, Ellis Martin.
take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Okay, let me play this one clip. If you're on hold, stand by. This is Joni Ernst talking about Liz Cheney on The View.
We've spoken here a bunch about cancel culture, which former President Obama warned can go overboard sometimes. And you say Liz Cheney was a victim of it. Can you explain that to me?
Well, yes, and I do admire Liz Cheney very much.
Ugh.
There are a number of things that I may not agree with her on. You know, for her to come forward, stand up, and say what she feels is important to say is okay.
There you go. So you got a Liz Cheney lover, a George Floyd lover, and Joni Ernst. And she's passing judgment on Pete Hegseth? She's a disgusting person. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Maine, Brian.
Oh, hey, Jeff. What's up?
Hey, I still stand by. I know that we disagree a little on this, that DeSantis has no business in a high-ranking cabinet or office. I think he could do good to prove himself as a FEMA director, to prove his allegiance to Trump in America.
Well, he's not gonna make Lara Trump, the senator from Florida, to be the FEMA director. That doesn't seem like a very good exchange. That'd be a bad deal.
But why are we allowing governors to sway their decision on who they put in if they get a deal? I just don't think that's ethical.
Well, that's what that one guy, I forgot his name, Blagojevich, went to prison for that, right? There was a Senate seat. When Obama got elected president, he made a deal to give somebody a Senate seat. He went to prison.
So I just don't see that, Brian.
Well, something I don't. Why did Lara Trump resign from the RNC without anything? There's got to be something lined up.
Do you think it's something higher for her than even senator?
What's higher than that she could be?
I'm not sure.
There's not much. I mean, that's as high as it gets, unless you're like president or vice president, Supreme Court or something. But no.
What do you think about J.D. Vance in 2028 running with Laura Trump as vice president?
No, that'd be great. That'd be great. But something's going on.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
She'd be the first woman I would definitely stand by running for vice president to become president.
Yeah.
Sharp as a deck.
Yeah.
And very intelligent.
Yeah, that's true.
Can I ask you one question? I know you don't usually do this, but on what happened in Syria, who's taken over now is who Obama and Clinton was helping with the rockets and stuff running through the Benghazi consulate. And I believe this all ties back to that, because what's happening there is it could affect a lot in the Middle East.
Listen, the Muslim world is not civilized. It's like Haiti. It's just different states of anarchy, and that's just the way it is. There'll never be peace over there, and there's nothing we can do. And so far as what's going on over there, I don't care. I don't need to know all the details about the different factions. I mean, I know this, that whatever faction it is, they hate America and they hate Israel, and they're our enemy, and one is all dead. And it's not our fight. I mean, we got Americans in North Carolina living in tents. Our country, and we've got illegal aliens living in New York City hotel rooms in Manhattan right now. We're going to worry about Syria.
Yep. Well, amen to that. But just the last point I wanted to make, come January 20th, there's going to be a different song being sung in Syria about America, because they're not going to mess with Trump.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate the call. You guys got to understand, if Trump had not won the election, there would be a major move in the media and by this country to get us involved in a war in Syria. And think about it. I mean, that would be 3 wars that Biden and Kamala have given us. Ukraine, Israel, and then Syria. And Trump said it's not our fight. We're not going to be involved in it. And we shouldn't be involved in it. I mean, who are these different factions of terrorists? They're all just different factions of terrorists tribal people that are fighting over things. This is how it is always going to be over there. The only reason that outside of Israel, the only reason that the Middle East has any influence is because of oil. That's the only reason people care about it. And when Trump comes back on January 20th and does the drill baby drill, and we become the number one producer of oil and the number one exporter of oil again, their relevancy will wane. That's the only reason they are significant. And, Russia and Iran are being held up by oil dollars right now. When that dries up, because we're going to be drilling, Russia and Iran are going to be broke, and they're going to be ready to start brokering some pretty big deals with Trump to end their attack on Ukraine and end their attack on Israel from the Iranian viewpoint. But this you look at this just disgusting alliance. You see Iran and Russia are partnered in Syria, and what do you have? You have Biden and Kamala. You have Biden and Kamala funding both of them. When they drive oil prices up, which they've done, it puts money in the pocket of the Iranians and the Russians who are behind all this stuff. Do you understand? I mean, this is nonsense. And I'm so glad to see that the American people are supportive of Trump and that we shouldn't have anything to do with what's going on in Syria. I mean, who cares? They've been having a civil war going on there for 20 years, close to it. What would change if we're involved in it, right? We spent 20 years in Afghanistan and we gave it back to the people that knocked down the buildings. I mean, that's just disgusting. It's insane, and our deep state is responsible for the state of Iran today as well. No, there's nothing that says that we have to get involved in every skirmish around the world. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good, Brian, can I ask you a question? How do we go from I'm going to stop the war in Ukraine before I start my presidency to now who cares what goes on in those countries?
I was talking about Syria. I was talking about Syria, not Ukraine.
You said this is 3 wars that have gotten us into, and who really...
Well, if Ukraine... loser bums like you, right? If Ukraine...
There's actually people like me who give a crap and actually think that America...
Oh, really? You give a crap. Okay, what do you care about? Oh, excuse me, slow down. You said that America is about Americans like you who care about things. What do you care about today?
I said America does care what goes on around the world. Okay?
Really?
Like you, who are all about new selfish movements about me, my, and I, and guarantee you these tariffs are going to make our prices go up.
Okay, so this is interesting. So you think that the United States should get involved in Syria?
Let's with you.
No, lie to me.
If there's any humanitarian aid or if there's
humanitarian. Tell me, we should go over there. Also, you're going to join up? You're going to enlist and go fight for Syria?
Hey, Brian, if there was a draft in the World War or whatever like that, I'd be the first one to sign up.
If there was a draft, you'd be the first. I don't...
Draft that we needed, and we need... Brian.
Okay, so you're not going to go. Okay, so you're going to say a military family, but you're not part of it. Okay, so tell me what Syria has that we need. Like if Syria did not exist today, what would we not have in America other than terrorists in that region of the Middle East? What is their number one export to the United States?
Syria is number one export to the United States.
Yeah, they're important to us. So what do they offer us?
Besides genocide of the dictator who was there and
genocide. So nothing. Okay, nothing.
How about dead people, Brian?
Dead people. Well, okay. If Syria is so important, who was deposed? What is their political party, and who has replaced them? Since you're so concerned about Syria, maybe you can give me like a little lesson on geopolitical politics of Syria. Who was deposed? Slow down. The leader of Syria was deposed. Who is he? What's his political background? And who has replaced him? The gentleman, yes.
The gentleman who flew over. Okay. Well,
You don't even know. You said gentleman. You don't even know. You don't even know who the players are.
you think he's a gentleman?
Who?
All I know is that he's
No. A dictator. What's his name? You don't know his name. If you don't know, if for 20 years, if you don't know who he is, how do you know he's bad?
Because he went over to Russia for asylum. Do good people go there for that?
I don't know. Eric Snowden's in Russia. He's a good guy.
Yeah, exactly. A major piece of...
Yeah, okay, you caught yourself there. Okay, so this guy, this guy in Syria that's been deposed, you don't know his name, you know nothing about him, but he's bad. Who's replaced him?
Deposed. He was so bad. He's been deposed. The guy's only been 3 days. What do you...
Who's replaced him?
As far as I know,
Some regime. So you don't know anything. So if you don't know, if you don't know who was deposed and who's replaced them, how can you say we should go over there and fight? You don't know who you're fighting for or who you're fighting against.
Hey, Brian.
Don't you feel stupid?
Not really.
Oh.
You need to open the book and read the character's name to know that there is an evil person inside of the story.
An evil person inside of the story. Listen, Syria is so, Syria is so unimportant that no one knows who the people in the factions are. It doesn't matter. They're not players.
Thank you very much. And then why are you grilling me, telling me, oh, well, it matters if you know. And then 2 seconds later, you said...
Because you told me we should send the U.S. military to Syria. You don't, yeah, you did. You said you'd be you said if there was a draft, you'd be the first to sign up, but you get drafted, you don't sign up. But you said you'd be first to go. Tell me 3 countries. Okay, Syria is so important. Can you tell me 3 countries that border Syria?
Cool.
Yeah, I know. That's how unimportant it is.
Brian,
Yes.
every time something important comes up, you divert, you distract, and you make something else up that has absolutely nothing to
It has everything to do with it. All right, appreciate the call. Oh, my goodness. He doesn't even know where it is. He knows it's in the Middle East. He doesn't know where in the Middle East. He doesn't know who's there, who's running it, who was running it. But we should send the army there. Why? Because Rachel Maddow said so? All right, we'll take our break for the top and be right back.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WIRK 103.1 HD3 Indiantown, and heard in Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM.
Steve, you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, hold on.
Your home.
Be right back, guys.
Steve Kane Show.
14th. The Paddock is also your best bet for OTB action and football Sundays with the all-you-can-eat buffet and over 140 HD TVs and big screens. Paddock show tickets make great holiday gifts for upcoming events, and more info go to pbkennelclub.com.
Solomons and their free home security system and free doorbell camera with professional installation offer is here. Yep, finally some great news. How would you like a free doorbell camera? You get a doorbell camera, you get a doorbell camera. The first 40 True Oldies listeners who call 833-283-5050 will get this limited time offer of a free doorbell camera that's connected directly to your smartphone with installation of your Sloan studio. And that's not all. Sloan's will give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station model.
Oh, I got a sneeze coming. It's so cool in here. I went out in the hallway, and it's like hot. I came back here, the air's on, and it's making me want to sneeze. Okay.
That's 1-833-283-5050.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did, until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching, have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6642.
Don't waste hours and hours waiting at the doctor's office or one of those big labs. Go to any lab test now in Boca or any lab test now in Coral Springs. Their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest you'll find anywhere. No appointment, doctor's order, or prescription is needed. And you're in and out in 15 minutes or less. They offer every lab and blood work your doctor can order. They even have drug testing and STD testing. Improve your health care and visit any lab test now in Boca and any lab test now in Coral Springs. There's lots of any lab test nows around, but these are the only two advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to any lab test now in Boca and any lab test now in Coral Springs. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right. Callers on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Steve joining us. Hey, Steve.
Good morning.
Oh, boy. It's been a great weekend. No updates, but I've been, well, let me take some calls and I'll get into some things. But we've covered a lot in the last couple of hours. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning.
Yes, you're on the air.
Oh, hi. This is Tampa Bay. This is Joan.
Hey, John, what's up?
Hello, Johnny. What's up?
I think this Syria thing is all by design. My son came home about 2 months ago and said he was being deployed at the beginning of the year. I said, "Oh, are they sending you to Europe?" And he said, "No." And I can't tell you where where I'm gonna go, but I bet you it's Syria. And I think it's all by design.
Well, it's over.
So it's Syria.
Because there really isn't much happening there until the Syria BS came up.
Mm-hmm.
And, Biden says he's going to be sending aid and all this other crap to Syria. So I bet you they're going to...
Well, don't worry. Don't worry. There's about 1,000 soldiers there from the United States. They'll be coming home. And Trump says we're not going to get involved. Now, if Kamala had won, we'd be in trouble. They would open up the third front in these endless wars. But Kamala lost, so we're not going to be involved in Syria.
The thing is, I said to him, I said, if Trump becomes president, you're not going to be deployed. He's like, no, they're not stopping. They're setting us up. We're going out.
Well, they may go, but they're going to be coming home. Enough. I mean, it's just enough. Listen, that call I just had with that idiot Tom, he knows nothing. All he knows is that MSNBC told him that we have to be involved. He doesn't know where Syria is on the map. He doesn't know who's in power, who was in power, what's going on, but he knows Trump is against U.S. involvement, so he wants to be involved. But he's,
Syria is near Jordan and Iraq.
Well, you know that, and I know that, but the liberal jerk that called in that wants the United States to get involved militarily doesn't know that. So, and most Americans don't. Okay, there's the only thing that do you know what the number one export from Syria is, caller? The number one export of Syria.
I have no idea.
Jihad, terrorist. That's it. Like ISIS. Al-Qaeda, things like that. Great exports, yeah.
I think this is by design.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I appreciate the call. Did you see President Trump in France over the weekend, Steve?
Yes, I did.
I've never seen, he flew over there on Trump Force One, which surprised me. I thought he might take one of the Air Force Ones, but he flew over there on Trump Force One. I've never seen a state visit done by a president-elect before.
Amazing.
They always take the back seat, except Trump. In fact, the last time something like this happened, Gorbachev had his last summit. I just popped in my head. Gorbachev had his last summit with Ronald Reagan in New York City, and Vice President Bush had won and was president-elect. But it was all Reagan. Bush was in the background and had nothing to do with it. In fact, they made a big deal about it. Even though President Bush won and is the president-elect, this is Reagan and Gorbachev, right? President-elects are never involved in things involving international issues. I remember when Clinton was president-elect, Bush 41 ordered an airstrike against, I can't remember, Iraq. I think it was Iraq. I can't remember what it was for. And I saw a press conference with President-elect Clinton's spokesperson, and they say, "Well, we only have one president at a time. We have no comments on it." Yeah. And what do you see here? I mean, President Trump is running the country and the world. Well, what happened in France on Saturday with President Trump was historic and amazing on many levels. Okay, one, it was invite only, and they invited him. And then what happened? He had the most prominent seat in Notre Dame. It was, the French president. He gets the prime spot because it's his country. Macron, and Trump is sitting right next to Macron. Between Macron and his wife. So it was Macron, Trump, and then Macron's wife. And then Jill Biden down the way. That was a very strong statement. And what that was all about was the threat of the tariff increase, the import taxes. Right? And
seems that's what everything's about.
Yeah. It's amazing, and I was talking about this in the first hour, but I want to go because this is, if you're on hold, stand by. It's very important. When Trump went to Europe in his first term, and he was with all the foreign leaders in Europe, he was in the back, and he pushed his way forward to be in the front of the crowd. Remember, he had to shove his way. This time, he didn't have to shove his way. They made sure he was the front. And not only did he have the best seat at Notre Dame out of respect for him in America, the world leaders were climbing over each other to meet him and shake his hand and suck up to the new president, President Trump at Notre Dame. It was amazing.
There's never been anything quite like it that I could see.
Not with the president-elect. Nothing like that has ever happened before. And in this interview, I played some clips from the Meet the Press interview. I don't know if I want to play anymore, but I'll tell you a couple things. Did you see the Meet the Press interview Oh, you got to see it. You got to see it. I should have called you yesterday to make sure you saw it. But he talked about a lot of things. But Kristen Welker asked about the tariffs. All of a sudden, Democrats are against taxes increases. And he talked about what's happened over the threat of tariffs. He said that the president of Mexico not only stopped these caravans, she deployed the Mexican army to stop it. And that he told this to Kristen Welker. He called the southern border the other day. They said, no one's coming across. There's nobody there. So just the threat of tariffs, he's the president-elect, not the president yet. The president of Mexico has used the Mexican army to stop Invasion USA from happening from the southern border. You've got the Canadian Prime Minister coming down here last week to kiss Trump's butt. And now we saw the treatment he got in France and from the European leaders who were sucking up to him.
It's a tad early to be celebrating.
Not if you're watching what's going on. This is what's happening. We know what's happened has happened.
Early yet.
Well, when do you want to celebrate? When the next term's over? I mean, I think we got there's all these exciting things that have been happening. There has never been a president-elect who's taken charge before. And if he's doing so much without any authority, wait until January 20th after he takes the oath. Now, if you're on hold, hang in there. I want to tell everyone about your neuropathy, Steve. And, of course, Lighthouse Medical. Lighthouse Medical in Pompano, no matter where you're located, in Florida or America, they can help you with your neuropathy no matter where you're located. You do not have to be able to go in person for them to treat you and rid you of your neuropathy symptoms, okay? I mean, if you could make it in and you can go in, that's awesome, but you don't have to. They can help you no matter where you're located. And, neuropathy is living torture, the numbness, the pain, the burning, the tingling in the hands and feet, the dizziness, the loss of balance, the feeling of pins and needles in the hands and feet, no sensation at all. Some have some of those symptoms, some of them have them in rotation, some have all of the symptoms at the same time. It's living hell, neuropathy. Yeah, but Lighthouse Medical, they have a treatment for neuropathy that works, rids you of your neuropathy over 2.5 years ago. The symptoms have not returned. Give them a call. Now, when you call, make sure you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show. Then you can take advantage of the no-charge consultation. The number is 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. lighthousemedicalcenter.com. All right, callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. Steve's here. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Scott with a quick reminder that the greatest hits of the 60s and 70s are back on the radio right after 10 a.m. this morning. Check it out on South Florida's True Oldies channel right here.
Women's professional soccer is here.
Looking for affordable family fun? Come watch South Florida's only professional women's soccer team, Fort Lauderdale United FC. This Saturday, December 14th at 7:30 p.m., Fort Lauderdale United FC takes on Carolina Ascent FC at Beyond Vanguard Field at NSU. Exciting action, great vibes, and memories for the whole family.
Get your tickets now at FTLUTD.com.
When it comes to dental work, there's no one better than Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. But don't just take my word for it. This is Richie the bus driver. He called in on the air to share his experience with Dr. Gupta. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie, Dr. Gupta. I go 139 miles to this guy. I had a broken tooth. He fixed it. It was supposed to be temporary. It lasted 2 years. He put dentures in my mouth that are a lot cheaper than anybody else. And he's excellent and no pain. I recommend this guy. To me, he's the best ever. So I want to get that out of the way.
Listen to Richie the bus driver. Go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633.
The Greater South Florida Chamber of Commerce has fantastic free-to-attend events all year long. Join us for their next great expo in your area.
Don't miss the Greater South Florida Chamber's next great event. It happens Friday, December 13th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Kane Center in Stewart, 970 Salerno Road in Stewart. A day filled with fun, education, and wellness. Discover the latest trends in ski clothing, health products, and services tailored for boomers. The Oldies
Hear us in Boca on 95.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. I apologize if if my voice sounds like I've got water. My mouth is watering, Steve. I was just listening to your recorded spot for Wings Plus on Sample Road, and the hunger pains have set in because I'm getting hungry now because I'm thinking about those medium hot wings at Wings Plus. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, I know. By the way, Wings Plus has been with us for a long, long time here on the program. They have the most incredible wings you've ever had. Everything is homemade, even the sauces. Nothing comes out of a can. And apart from the wings, I've had every wing on the menu. They're spectacular. But everything is homemade, including, we don't talk about it that much, Steve, the clam chowder. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I mean, so Wings Plus, I know. And the chili. Oh, man. But Wings Plus is about a mile west of University Drive on the south side of Sample in Coral Springs. Make sure you tell them. Hear about them on the Steve Kane Show. All right. If you're on hold, stand by. Elon Musk's son, who is named X, I don't know, he's like 4 years old. He took him to Congress the other day. But his dad is brilliant, right? His father is the richest man in the world and also the richest African American. And Elon Musk made a little video with his son. This is Elon Musk's son, X. And he's a very smart young kid. Listen.
What should I do?
Save America.
And?
Help Trump.
Okay.
There you go. That's Elon Musk's son. I mean, how can you disagree with that? Help Trump. Exactly. Oh, my goodness. Yep. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Richard from Tampa.
Hey, Richard.
Okay, I keep hearing you say wait till January 21st. Where did this come from? I mean, he won the election in November. It's already December now. Why can't he start the second, let's say?
Because we have the Constitution of the United States. The president sworn in at noon on the 20th of January. That's why.
Elected the 20th. Why? Because...
No, they used to get inaugurated in March, and then at some point they moved it to, I guess because it took a long time to get around on wagon and by horse. And I don't know at what point they moved it to January, but, all right.
I can't stand looking at Biden on TV anymore or hearing his voice.
This is the only president-elect period where people are like itching for the inauguration so fast. I know it's the suspense, and it's going by slow. I know. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, good morning, gentlemen. It's another beautiful Monday, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Pre-Trump era. I call it pre-Trump because for that very same reason I haven't sworn in yet. But you know what? I'm glad you pointed all this out as far as leadership because he's a proven leader. He has the respect of the international community, and that's clearly obvious. And whether the Trump haters realize it or not, they need that for this country because we have real enemies.
Oh, yeah. I mean, think about it. If anyone would have won but Trump, Nikki Haley, DeSantis, Kamala Harris, the army would be building up to go to war in Syria. And Trump immediately said, it's not our fight. We're out of it.
The big picture, and some of that is a distraction. Thin us out so they can start chaos elsewhere. But no, they can't assume that we're going to just be honky-dory, great country as usual.
I'll tell you, I see these different factions that are like in charge in Syria. They're tribal. They're lunatics. They're not a civilized people. And when I was watching that, I was thinking that if the Europeans had never settled America, this is how the Indians would be. The Cherokee, the Sioux, they'd be just like these chieftains in the Middle East. They would just be fighting with each other all the time. Which, it's not a civilized area. There's nothing we can do to bring peace to that area. They're tribal people. They're not really into civilization as we know it.
100%. They'll build constant. But yeah, President Trump is exactly what we needed. And my goodness, I'm so glad he's already proven me as a respect because
The minute.
We're impatient for it to get started. That's the only problem.
Well, I'm sorry, we got that little constitution that gets in the way. I mean, but they should swear him in early a little bit because Biden got sworn in like 13 minutes early. So maybe they could swear Trump in like 13 minutes early to get back that time that Biden took from his first term. I'm going to tell you guys when on Biden's inauguration day when I was up at Mar-a-Lago. And I've talked about this a few times. I saw President Trump the last 15 minutes of his first term. And when he went inside the walls of Mar-a-Lago, I went to the airport and I saw Air Force One leave without him. And it was awful. There were guys crying, okay? And I can't wait for it to be back. It's good. It was sad.
And the worst part of it is, besides his leadership, is that we knew the election was, rigged. It was because now that his absence in 4 years has really, I think.
Exactly. I mean, things are perfect now. Things are perfect. By the way, am I the only one who thinks that, Lara Trump has resigned her position at the RNC? She would not do that without something else lined up. Is DeSantis going to make her the senator?
Well, something is on the horizon for her, that's for sure. Better. I know she's just not going to retire. No, trust me, they'll make good use of her knowledge and her,
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what everyone's assuming. All right, appreciate the call. Take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Never Trumper Steve here in beautiful Palm City. How you doing, Brock?
Stephen, how are you doing?
Just fine. I listened, Brian, to your tutorial this morning on birthright citizenship. And do you believe Trump told the truth about birthright citizenship when he was asked about it?
Trump always tells the truth.
Well, here's the problem. And you played it on air, so we all heard what he said. And he said that we're the only country that has birthright citizenship. So you believe that's correct?
The birthright citizenship was for two things, okay? First, when you Democrats used to own black people as slaves, when I know you're Republican, I know. The country passed the birthright citizenship to establish that the freed slaves were U.S. citizens, because I don't care what your question was. I'm going to answer the way I want to answer it. I'm not. Excuse me. You're not going to walk me down a garden path pretending you're a radio talk show. I want to say what I'm going to say, and you can respond. The birthright. You're not going to hijack the topic. The birthright citizenship was to establish that the freed slaves were U.S. citizens because the Democrats were continuing to try to take their rights away. It was expanded a little bit later to establish that American Indians were U.S. citizens. It was never meant for some woman to get knocked up in Guatemala, step across the border, and give give birth at the nearest hospital to the southern border and get set up in a retirement life, like is happening. Well, I don't care what you're talking about. Open phones is Friday.
Let me get on to the second point you made.
No.
On that one.
Now we're getting the phone problems.
You indicated that there's no separation of citizens in this country.
No, your phone is cutting out. I'll give you 1 sec. We got a break, so I'll give you a second. What did you ask?
You indicated, if I'm correct.
I can't understand what you're saying. We're having phone problems. But birthright citizenship is not for criminal. All the illegals are criminals. They're here illegally. Birthright citizenship under the Constitution is not for criminals to come to America pregnant or come to America illegally and get knocked up and then get set up for the rest of their life on a retirement plan. Okay? That's not what it's meant to be. It's a perversion of what the birthright citizenship is. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. I'm Brian. Steve Kane's here. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're going to really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
announced an illegal foreign invasion of our country, allowing a record number of illegal aliens to storm across our borders. From all over the world they came. Under Biden's current policies, even though these millions of illegal border crossers have entered the country unlawfully, all of their future children will become automatic U.S. citizens. Can you imagine?
No.
They'll be eligible for welfare, taxpayer-funded health care, the right to vote, chain migration, and countless other government benefits, many of which will also profit the illegal alien parents. This policy is a reward for breaking the laws of the United States and is obviously a magnet helping draw the flood of illegals across our borders. They come by the millions and millions and millions. They come from mental institutions. They come from jails, prisoners. Some of the toughest, meanest people you'll ever see. The United States is among the only countries in the world that says that even if neither parent is a citizen nor even lawfully in the country, their future children are automatic citizens the moment the parents trespass onto our soil. As has been laid out by many scholars, this current is in the world that says that they come from jails, prisoners, some of the toughest, meanest people you'll ever see.
Attorneys $100 million club. They've proven time and again.
So you can see how the angel water, see how blonde my hair is and soft it is? That's even, you know, that's even with hat head and hair products in it. That's the angel water. It's amazing.
Nights on Celebrity Cruise Line's newest ship, The Ascent to Puerto Plata, St. Thomas, and St. Martin. We set sail March 30th. We have private shore excursions, private cocktail parties, group activities. We're going to go to the shows together and much, much more. Call in at Cruise and Travel Depot right now. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. And online at cruisingdepot.com to make your reservation and lock in our private group rate. Nothing comes close to Celebrity Cruises.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, we're back. Calls on over, stand by. I'm Brian. Steve's here. The reason this birthright citizenship came up because, Steve, in the Meet the President interview, Trump said he's going to end that. And I wanted to play this clip. This is Trump during the campaign talking about birthright citizenship.
The United States is among the only countries in the world that says that even if neither parent is a citizen nor even lawfully in the country, their future children are automatic citizens the moment the parents trespass onto our soil. As has been laid out by many scholars, this current policy is based on a historical myth and a willful misinterpretation of the law by the open borders advocates. There aren't that many of them around. It's amazing. Who wants this? Who wants to have prisoners coming into our country?
Yeah, Democrats. So you know, the Trump's position is that it's a perversion of the birthright citizenship that gives them the citizenship. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? What's going on? Oh, okay. We'll try it again. Oh, the phones are down. What's going on with the phones? They're locked. All right, we can't take any calls, Steve. If you're on hold, stand by. For some reason, the phones are locked. The buttons don't work on my phone. Is it your phone too? All right, you back with us, Steve? Okay. Well, if you're on hold, stand by. The phones are resetting. They're being reset right now, so we'll take some calls in a minute. But if you go to that Meet the Press interview, Trump said a lot of things that are very, very important. But the biggest takeaway and the biggest huge story is that he's going to end the birthright citizenship. And when he does that, of course, you're going to, I love what Christian Wilkerson says. You're going to do that even though it's going to be taken to the courts. The Democrats are going to take everything to a liberal judge, okay? They're going to go and do, no matter what Trump does, they're going to go to courts and try to stop it. That's not how you legislate. That's how Democrats legislate, because they're losing all the elections and they can't get their agenda through. So they find some judge that was appointed by, Obama or Clinton or Biden, or if there's any Jimmy Carter judges around, and try to get a judge to rule in their favor. But I don't think that's going to stop Trump. I think Trump's going to just full steam ahead. The second big takeaway was when she had asked him about splitting up the families with the deportations. He says, we'll send the whole family together back. Okay? The only families that are going to be split up are the ones who choose to be split up. All right, let's try the phones again. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Very familiar with you.
Then why'd you break it? I hung up on you because it... I hung up on you on purpose. It was time for... No, oh, he hung up on me. No. It was two things. The technical... No, there was the technical problem with his phone. We couldn't understand him. And then two, it was time for a bottom of the hour break. Now, I know Never Trumper Steve thinks that we should suspend commercial breaks for the brilliance that's coming through his mouth when he speaks, but that's not the case. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian. Oh my goodness. What an arrogant egomaniac that Never Trumper Steve is.
Yeah, well, after a certain amount of decorum on the phone when you call into the show and that, I think. But
I kept him on the air even with the tech problem with his phone, and tried to work it out. What am I? People don't want to listen to that, but I still tried. But he bested me. He thinks he bested me.
Well, I don't think so, but that's a whole other opinion. I have to tell you, if you look back the last several months, and it's really when you see the optics and body language stuff. In the last several months, you almost get the impression that the White House is basically moved to Mar-a-Lago. There's more heads of states visiting Mar-a-Lago than the White House now. I remember when Netanyahu came down and Trump met him on the outside at the steps. That looked like the White House.
And I saw that Netanyahu said he's going to attend the inauguration. I do not remember. Now, I'm sure this has happened, but I don't remember ever a foreign leader announcing they're going to attend the inauguration of a president before. Have you ever? Do you remember anything like that, Eric?
Oh, no.
I've never heard something like that before.
So far-fetched.
No, Netanyahu said it. He says, I'm going to be at the inauguration. That's what it...
Doesn't sound like it would be earth-shattering.
Oh, it is earth-shattering. I have never heard a head of state announce, I will be at the inauguration of the next president. I've never heard. That's how important Trump is.
Especially from Israel, too.
Yeah.
He's got their hands full right now, and he's going to, come here for this inauguration. That's how important it is.
He's making a statement.
Exactly. Making a statement. Yes. America's back.
Supporting it. But, I turned the sound off during the Notre Dame thing, and you look at just the body language of the people, and that they're all
like craning their necks to get a look at Trump and where is he and where can we meet him and stuff like that. You really believe that this is the president in charge right now?
I must say, yeah, go ahead, finish.
Well, January 20th, I think, is basically a constitutional formality where the president is sworn in. But I think for all purposes and stuff, Trump's already running the.
Well, a couple of things about the Notre Dame thing. Your observations are correct, and I thought it was very interesting how friendly Jill Biden was to President Trump.
That was my next point. Yeah.
I mean, that was weird. Well, because when I did mute it too because the organ playing was awful. I mean, I don't know. Was that a real organ player? I mean, did they have Elon Musk was there? Did he have his son up there just hitting the? It was all. I couldn't listen to the organ. But when I saw where Trump was sitting, which was at the most prominent, prestigious seat in the House next to Macron, a seat of honor, and I saw that Jill was down a ways, and my first thought was she must be really ticked off that she's being sidestepped. She's up. And then I saw her with Trump. She was so excited to be there with Trump. That's how pissed they are at the Democrats and at Kamala.
Well, she was like staring at Trump. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
a lot of people think she was flirting.
Well, did you make a case of that? I don't know. He didn't seem very interested.
Ashley Biden looked stoned.
Yeah.
She didn't look like she was with it. Yeah, she didn't look like it. She was dressed like Michael Jackson, Ashley Biden. But how friendly Jill was to Trump, that's new. You know, you go remember that event that funeral they were at where everybody got the envelopes. They've always been disrespectful to President Trump and Melania. And at this event, he was shown his proper respect, which has never happened before. He's got that I call it charisma, whatever, but he's got presence. And when he's in that front row, it's like, that is the president of the United States and someone to contend with. And it's nice to see that after all these 3 years of Biden and Obama and that. Well, and I'll tell you another one, what's his name? The Prince of Wales, Harry's brother, big brother. I cannot remember his name. The Prince of Wales. I forgot his name. Well, he was waiting in that doorway for like 10 minutes for Trump to come. To do it's usually the other way around for those guys. I mean, I've never seen something like the way Trump was treated, especially Trump, because if you remember when Rosalind Carter died and Melania went to the funeral, they were Prince William. Prince William was waiting in the doorway for Trump to come through for the longest time. I've never seen one of the royal family wait like that on television for somebody, ever. You're waiting for them to happen. Exactly. Isn't it nice for the MAGA people to see the president who we hope to get elected getting the respect and especially the office of the president, getting the respect they deserve on the international stage, right in the heart of Europe, too. Yeah. Came in and he had presence and people were, deferring to him. Well, it was respect for him, but also our country. And, when you see where he was sitting, you see how Jill was with him. You saw Prince William waiting. I mean, Prince William was waiting for a long time. And I could tell when Prince William was standing there, he was very uncomfortable. He's never stood and waited for anyone other than his mother, other than his father and his grandmother. I don't think he's ever waited for anyone like that, but he did for Trump. Especially for a president. They think they're elevated above the president, but not in this case. Never. There's a new sheriff in town. And it's true. All right, I appreciate the call. Now, I want to tell everyone about Dr. Appleton. Over 2 years ago, he rid me of pain the first time. And, we've got all this cold weather coming in. This was one of those times of the year where my aches and pains were really hurting me. You know how it is when you got arthritis or you got an injury when the weather changes, right? Rainy season, winter, you get those aches and pains. And, of course, I'm pain-free now because 6 times Dr. Appleton has rid me of pain with his laser-away pain treatment. Dr. Appleton performs all the treatments himself. Appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. The laser-away pain treatment is 100% painless. There's no shots, no injections, no drugs, no downtime, and the best part is it works. It works on every type of pain I've ever heard of. Give them a call. Now, while appointments are not necessary, I know a lot of you travel from out of town and out of state. If I were coming from out of state, I'd make an appointment. You know, even though appointments are not required, you can make them. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. Give Dr. Appleton a call and say bye-bye to your pain. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca with our first gold and precious metals report of the week. How are the metals starting the week off, William?
Metals are very strong, starting the week off on a very strong note. After closing up $1.40 on Friday, gold closed at $2,632.50 after trading in a range of $2,613 up to $2,645. Silver was down 35 cents on Friday, closing out the week at $30.93, while platinum lost $7 and closed out the week at $9.27, and palladium at $9.39. As I said, metals are up strong this morning. Trending range overnight, $26.27, all the way up to $2,665. The market rate now, $26.6250. That's up $30. Silver up 96 cents at $31.90 the ounce. Platinum up $24 at $9.51, and palladium up $35 at $9.74. So the markets have really broken out of that trading range we've been in for a couple of weeks now, and looks like the market wants to go higher.
Yeah.
The buying opportunity may be diminishing very quickly here as the metals start to back towards the all-time high that we were, which was about $120 higher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we're not that far away from it, and things are moving fast. Listen, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. You can stop in, and if you can stop in, you should. William Youngerman's shop is literally a museum. These beautiful metals that you hear him talk about are on display, and it'll blow your mind, the things you see on display at William Youngerman's shop. His address, 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. Or you can give him a call. Again, he opens up at 10 a.m. Toll free, 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. And you can find both his phone number and address on his website, WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, we'll be right back. All right, we're back. Steve Kane's here. I'm Brian. Back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Steve. Morning.
Yeah, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is George from Boca.
What is your name?
Hey, George from Boca.
Drudge? Okay, Drudge from Boca. Okay, go ahead. George. Okay, I'm sorry. It's the accent. George from Boca.
Oh, good, yeah. I want to take you back quickly to something that you said about the guaranteed birthright citizenship. Now, do you know that Bahamas, our neighbor on the Atlantic, does not have that birthright citizenship in place?
Does not.
Not a Bahamian. Yeah, if you're not a Bahamian, you cannot gain citizenship there, even if you were born there. You have to have two Bahamian parents.
Wow.
Imagine if predominantly black country right across the pond, and they don't have that in place.
Well, I don't believe we have it here. Either does Trump. It's the idea that we have it is a misrepresentation that they've been able to con us into believing.
I know you laid it out perfectly in that the guarantee under the Constitution for indentures like people like black
slaves and the Indians.
Right. So it is perverted. Thinking that, listen, okay, once you're born here, you're automatically a citizen, and it is not, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to point that out at the Bahamas.
Okay. Well, I appreciate. You know what they say? It's better in the Bahamas. You know, we have a lot of listeners in the Bahamas. You know, Bimini's like 50 miles away from us here. So Bimini is closer than Disney World. So we get a lot of listeners in the Bahamas. You know, I see a lot of guys online, Steve, that do something insane. They take jet skis to the Bahamas. I've seen guys with jet skis go from Palm Beach and Miami to the Bahamas. That's crazy. It's how close it is. I don't. That's really a stupid thing to do, by the way. These people that do it are really. I mean, what if you break down? It's still 50 some miles. That's pretty far out in the ocean. I wouldn't do it. But you know, Steve, this interview that Trump did with Kristen Welker was one of his best interviews ever. And I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, he shouldn't. Why is he talking to these liberals? Why is he talking to these Democrats?" It's important for him to, because their audience of liberals, when they hear Trump talk, he sounded so reasonable. You know, when, yeah, but you wouldn't know it if you let the liberals at NBC News explain you to them. Exactly.
Unreasonable.
Yeah, exactly. So no, it's good for him to do these liberal interviews. I think it was a great interview. Now, Kristen Welker thought that she made him look bad. She thought he looked crazy during. I could tell in her body language. She seemed to be polite, but even Trump called her out on it. Her questions were not nice questions, and she was very condescending to him. But that's okay. These people have been deposed. They are out of power and they are out of office. But you know. But the way what we were talking about, though, before the break, on the respect that Trump was shown in France on Saturday, never seen anything like it. I mean, it really shows you that our country's back. I mean, we've been getting pushed around by the world with this. I didn't realize how important presidents were. I don't think most people realized how important presidents were before Trump. You know, I don't know how this country has maintained our status with these jokes we've had as presidents other than Trump. You know, I mean, maybe we've been getting pushed around and just didn't realize it. And we have things in a new perspective. But but even Trump said the reason they were treating him so well in France is because of the threat of raising the tariffs. That's the number one reason. And he was talking to Kristen Welker about this. The import taxes are not going to go up because these countries are going to play ball. You know, he talked about, I couldn't believe let me see if I can find this one clip when he was talking about making Canada and Mexico states. And people on the left think that's kind of funny, but he made a really good point about it. I know I got the clip somewhere. I'm not sure if I can find it real quick while we're talking. But I did not realize we give a tremendous amount of financial aid to Canada. And everyone knows we give aid to Latin America, and but Canada is a first world country. Why would we be giving any type of aid to Canada? You know, they're not a third world country like Mexico. We shouldn't be giving aid to the third world countries either. But he said we're giving them so much money. Why not just make them states? And everything he said was there. I don't see how anybody could look at what he said and disagree with it. You know, like for example, when he was talking about firing Christopher Wray, the FBI director. He said he invaded my house. So what reasonable person would think that this guy that authorized the break-in of his house, that he shouldn't fire him? It makes no sense at all. But I wanted to play. There was one thing that will be one of the more controversial things he does on day one, and it's this one. This is him talking about the J6 prisoners.
We're going to look at everything. We're going to look at individual cases, yeah. Okay. But I'm going to be acting very quickly.
Within your first 100 days, first day?
First day.
First day.
Yeah, I'm looking first
Issue
day.
these apartments.
These people have been there, how long is it? 3 or 4 years?
Okay.
You know, by the way, they've been in there for years. And they're in a filthy, disgusting place that shouldn't even be allowed to be open.
Okay, so about the DC Gitmo. He's going to pardon the J6 prisoners on day one. So the pardons are being written, probably by Alina Habba, who he just appointed to this. You know, I'm a little confused about this. Alina Habba has been named counselor to the president. Is that White House? Is that chief White House counsel? Because I didn't hear it say chief White House. What does that mean? Alina Habba, counselor to the... I don't know if that's White House counsel or not. It was a little vague. No. He's Alina Habba he announced yesterday, President Trump, that she's going to be counselor to the president. Does that mean White House counsel or just an illegal? I don't know what that means. If anybody knows, but regardless of that, this pardoning of the J6 prisoners, we're going to see meltdowns like we've never seen before from the left when this happens. Okay, especially these Democrats in the Congress. And I hope he does it like, George Bush did a lot of bad things, but when he was first inaugurated and he was replacing Clinton, I can't remember what they were because it's been a long time, but he had all these executive orders that he was promising. And when he took the oath, he sat there on the Capitol steps next to the podium and signed the orders. And there was a stack. I mean, it was taller than him. And he just signed them right there on the Capitol steps. I would love those pardons to get signed right there. There's no way he's not going to make a show of it. No, and it's an important statement to be made. We just... What do you mean both sides? What's the other side?
At least the other side is Biden's.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Well, fine. That's fine with me. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to talk about Angel Water. Rocky from Angel Water, he's a good mega guy. He'll come out to your house like he did mine and test your water at no charge. Find out what you and your family are drinking, bathing with, and cooking with. I think you're going to be pretty shocked, like I was. And, when I thought in the past of a water filtration system for the house, I just thought that was kind of like a luxury. And what I've come to realize is it is a necessity. Basically, what's in our water, Steve, are just poisons. That's it. You hear all this talk from Bobby Kennedy on why America is so unhealthy. A lot of it's our water. And the Angel water filtration system doesn't just get out all these poisons, all these toxic chemicals and everything that you've been hearing us talk about. It gets rid of things that other filtration systems do not. And it does it forever and ever. It'll change your life. It'll change your family's life. And you definitely will want one. And it's a great gift for you to give to yourself and your whole family in your home in this Christmas season. And they have an incredible offer for you. Angel Water is going to give you a free under-the-sink reverse osmosis system with the purchase of a whole house refiner. I have both of those. Give Angel Water a call. Have Rocky come out to your house. He'll test your water and tell you what you are drinking at home. His number 561-899-6585. 561-899-6585. That's 561-899-6585 for Angel Water. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Stephen Bryan. Good morning. It's JJ from Mass.
Good morning, JJ.
What's up?
Good morning, Steve. Number one, Trump was awesome. The J6 pardons. First day, that's going to be awesome, and yes, I think heads are going to explode when that takes place. But I did want to touch base quickly on on Syria, on the one guy that had called in, and just I don't, between all the wars that are going on, I mean, Russia, Ukraine, Israel with Hamas and the Houthis and Hezbollah, we've got all this stuff going on. Trump's coming in and wants to stop all war, and yet I think I saw Lindsey Graham and or other people are thinking about, why the hell would anybody think about going to Syria?
Money.
I can't believe there are people that, I can't even believe that people will, yeah, I understand that, but insane people. These people need to be locked up. And by the way, we do have troops in Syria. I mean, Operation Enduring Freedom or Resolve or whatever.
When did the liberals go from give the peace a chance to total war nonstop? When did that happen?
The donations started getting real heavy to the Democrat senators.
Yeah.
It's like Price is Right. It's like Monty Hall. If the Price is Right, the world looks good, and they're all making money. And it just, and plus, I don't understand how anybody wouldn't know what borders Syria? I mean, for Christ's sakes, they've only been pointing the camera at that area for the last.
Yeah, but he knows how important it is.
Well, I'm talking about the caller from earlier, and I
Yeah.
just don't know basic geography. I mean, for Christ's sake, Syria, and the guy that took over. I mean, Assad's out, obviously, the dictatorship from the last 70 plus
50 years. Yeah.
And now the guy that came in is an ex-Emir al-Nusra, which is the Al-Qaeda of Syria.
Yeah, is that nice?
Iraq. He was in Iraq, and we're going to find out if we start seeing, it doesn't matter what we see.
Listen, this is the deal. Bush and Cheney messed all this up. You had dictators in power. You had Assad. You had Saddam. You had Gaddafi. There were no problems. Okay, they removed Saddam Hussein, and that was it. And now it's endless conflict, which is what they
tell everybody that it's like the good intentions paving the road to hell, but they're out there with the push broom sweeping the sidewalks while we're all going. It's insane. We don't need to be in any of that stuff. I want peace. I mean, I want peace. I want people to stop killing everybody everywhere. That's what Trump wants. That's what we mag.
There's never going to be peace over there. They're not civilized.
I mean, well, yeah, Brian. But I think we can at least hope for that and pray for it. And I think that Israel. I mean, listen. Hamas to me are a bunch of rabid animals.
This is the deal. All these countries, we're almost out of time, but all these countries over there, whatever country it is, Syria, Iran, these are all lines that were drawn after World War I by Europe. So these tribal chieftains and Al-Qaedas don't recognize any of those borders. Correct. So yeah. So you're never going to have peace based on the terms of these lines that they made up all these countries from. All right, we're out of time for that. I appreciate the call. We had some very good calls today. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Steve Kane, of course, is here. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. Thanks, everyone who called and participated. We had some very good calls today, I must say. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 a.m.
WSFS 104.3.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. If you're new, make